Two interesting teams. Just we got the ah, so we got two good old teams here. We've got a balanced team with just the standard loaded dice Dragonite with a interesting focus sash annihilate, and then on this other side we've got the rain team, but with the mouse 8 version of rain. It's usually pretty annoying because the rain team can have all sorts of combinations to worry out for. But with the balanced version of sides, you can adapt to the situation, lead something, switch out, and go with what plan you want to be going here with what we're seeing here. Well, with what we're seeing here, it looks like we're heading to a direction. Just got to be careful not to give our Caledon or the opposing Annihilate too many stacks. That said, you could also give stacks to your own Annihilate. So scale shot, all these multi-hit moves will go pretty well. The Grassy Seas are giving a bit more physical bulk, as well as if an Incineroar for more physical bulk. But you can't really do Incineroar just because of the Intimidate giving a Defiant boost over. So we'll see what the players have gone out with. We've got Yoav versus, apologize here, Chai. What? Either way, here we go for the two players. Annihilate Klefki versus Annihilate Dragonite. So one's with the Focus Sash, one's with leftovers, but one's with the bottle cup set. The other also has screen setup. The other's just more offensive, but with also potential coaching boosts going on. So right now we're seeing a potential tailwind option to solidify the speed control, especially because once left to get some screens up. So there's going to be beef versus speed. So, and it's best, not to hit the Annihilate immediately, otherwise you're just giving free Rage Sphere stacks up for no reason. We're just going to start stacking up this Dragonite, getting it into a spot where, regardless of how reflected up this Annihilate is, you can get it in one hit potentially and hopefully. That said, the opposing Annihilate can also just match the bulk ups, and it's just going to be like a neutral battle, and to a point where you're hoping at least one or two of the scale shots crit, so that it breaks through all those defense boosts. But because you'll end up, if everyone keeps going up, you'll be +6 and you'll just go nuts. But it could also just be all bait. You just get rid of all the boosts, even your own, because as enticing as boosts are, it seems to be more beneficial to one side than the other. So here we go, we're switching out our Annihilate, the coaching Annihilate, bring in the Golden Go. Hopefully no Rage Fists are hitting into that spot, but no, it's just a safe protect, not knowing what else is going on. You would Misty Terrain to nullify the dragon. Outside of being immune to status conditions with Misty Terrain, any grounded foes also take reduced dragon damage. So Scale Shots is, at this point in time, severely weakened. So now this Dragonite is in a real awkward spot because it's just a Tailwind bot. It has some stuff, but it's a bit. It's just, this Dragonite's not going to do too much in terms of damage output. You could potentially switch your Annihilate back in, get yourself some self-scale shots that way, considering how weak the scale shots are right in this point of time. Let's see. So yeah, that's fine. We're getting this Dragonite out of here. We brought in the Sneasler. Might bring in some shenanigans. The Klefki's done its job. It's set up a Reflect. It has set up a light screen, but it's set up the necessary tools for this Annihilate. We brought in the big mouse now. So what else is down? Next thing, we're getting our +1 back on the bulk up after that haze interaction from before. Well, now we're down. We're at a nasty plot versus a bulk up, but now we've got this Sneasler going on here. And thanks to the moveset where we got going with the Rock Tomb, we get Golden Go will generally always be faster than the Annihilate unless the mouse will follow me away the Rock Tomb, because depending how invested this Annihilate is into the speed area. But the Rage Fist, however, has not been activated, so it's still its regular base power. It's not been boosted at all. The only boost it has currently is its bulk up. Otherwise, it's got no other boost going on for it. A nice protect coming in from this close combat that was about to target it. That said, it's just simply a double protect. So if this could have been seen, there might have been another nasty plot going on here potentially. Otherwise, the other thing with this Mystic Terrain going on here is Diaclaw's not being able to proc any sort of effect whatsoever, as status conditions are not allowed while Mystic Terrain is flowing on the field. And now, what are we going to do here? We're just Rock Tombing. Are we just sending it, or what are we planning here? We're protecting. Scouting out Terra, evading out of Terra potentially. So what are we at here? Mousehold's the one Terry, because we saw the close combat before hitting that protect, and thinking the close combat might come in again. Mousehold now has Terra, but thanks to now Golden Go scouting out that, all Golden Go can do now is just fire off Shadow Balls nice and freely, and there's there's only Ghost types, so the Shadow Ball's going to hit. But now this Annihilate has been set up with the Rage Fist now. It's strong. It's got the super high base power now. The only thing now is the speed control. Yes, Golden Go is now faster than the Ape, but the problem is the Follow Me can get away from the Follow Me can redirect the Shadow Ball away from the Annihilate, and then the problem is the Rage Fist can freely target the Golden Go, as there's no redirection away from this Golden Go currently on this field. So the matter is now, how do you get to a spot where Golden Go can take out the opposing Annihilate? Or do you accept the fact that you won't be able to knock it out with Golden Go right now because you'll get redirected and the Rage Fist just hits the Golden Go itself? Now, the other avenues to go down. It's just how do you go with this? Because there's clearly you can't get a Diaclaw proc going while Misty Terrain's up. So just going for it anyway, going for the Shadow Ball. It's going to be a Follow Me potentially. Yeah, here's the Follow Me. We're redirecting that Shadow Ball. We're going to be redirecting it. The Diaclaw happens. No effect's going to occur. Shadow comes in. And the Rage Fist should be going into this Golden Go slot, so the Mousehold will go down. But after this Golden Go goes down, there's not going to be much else dealing with this Annihilate that's been boosted up. It's been Rage Fist boosted. It's got a +1 in Hulk up. It's kind of out of control right now, so it's kind of going nuts right now. So we're in a little tricky situation, and then there's still a Sinister in the back where it can reapply screens if need be, bring back that kind of situation. We've also don't know what the fourth mon is. It could just simply be the Sinister, most likely, to, you know, just heal up if anything were to happen. The problem is now, because you couldn't get the a Terror, you couldn't scare off the Terror off the Golden Go, the opposing Annihilate can't Final Gambit trade, which would be something that you would love to do. But now the only hope is to maybe get rid of this Klefki before another Misty Terrain goes up. But thanks to Prankster, that Misty Terrain's always going to be up, and you're not going to ever be able to get a Diaclaw effect to potentially help you out with this battle to claw your way out. Because yeah, here's the Misty Terrain, so that's going to cause some sad noises. As now the Diaclaw, yes, the final Gambit's going to trade Mons with the Annihilate and Klefki, But this Diaclaw, you're simply giving more Rage Fist stacks. It's already had its full from the beat up, and I think it's had now 2 or so from this Diaclaw, so I'm pretty sure Rage Fist is at max stacks right now. So this Rage Fist is here to one-tap them on one at a time. So after this, we're now down to our last Pokemon from Yoav's side, and we've got the Annihilate +1 hidden in the back. With this uncontrollable Annihilate, just going nuts. Dragon once again, Mouse Ape always returns one way or another. So now we've got Dragonite, and yeah, thanks to the Misty Terrain, it's all that is. And then because we've got Sinister, we've got not just one, we've got a second redirector, and thanks to this Rage Powder and the terrain going on, this Dragonite sadly can't do too much. The battle is over. Congratulations to our player. Unlucky to Yoav. This round, game 1, sure, we'll see. It looks like this was just the game, just based on how the players are. It might be just game 1, so we'll be heading into game number 2 for these players. Now we're gonna have to adapt to change our mode. Realizing we've got Dragonite can't do a whole lot with this Reflect, and there's a lot going against Dragonite this battle, where there's all the screens, the terrain, as well as potential accidentally boosting opposing mons. It's not too much of a nice and good look going on here. Now we can get the potential other options where we just kind of go hard, go for the just have to go coaching boosts yourself on either like Rillaboom or Sneasler. But we might be apparently going back to the same thing, potentially, depending if we're thinking the opponent will switch up as well or not. Maybe get Golden Go set up sooner, because as we saw, once the Annihilate got set up, like, you can just redirect the single target hits on Golden Go. So unless Golden Go has maybe a 2 nasty clutch off, just so the Make It Rain itself can knock it out with the spread damage through Friend Guard. Because otherwise, yeah, right here, right now, we're in a peculiar spot where Hello? Now we've got Hello, how are you?
All good. How are we doing?
I'm doing alright. I think we're on to game number 2 here.
Yep.
Yeah. Mouse Ape versus Dragonite 8. So
right, I can see.
Yeah, first game the opposing ape went out of control. It got set up. There was the Reflex and Misty Terrain, so Dragonite was kind of worthless.
Right.
Yeah, so
yeah, because Misty Rangers make do no damage with skip shots.
Yes, exactly. And now we're getting a Ghost Terror Mouse again, because now the final Gambit ape on Yoav's side won't be able to make contact, so we're kind of having another Sitting Duck moment. This ape is just going straight for it, going out of control, because it's like, who's going to stop it at this point? Because yeah, you would love to get the ape Terran so you could final Gambit it, but now it can just freely go for the attack. Although we're just going for it, and thanks to the survivability of the Focus Sash, we might be able to get a good trade in, but because
it goes for coaching.
Yeah. So we're at this point, we're not caring about the stacks on Annihilate, we're just going for it. That said, we're just getting this mouse out of the way first.
Yeah, the problem with Mouse Ape is always getting rid of the mouse.
Exactly. The only thing is with this tape, it's not just the mouse, there's also another redirector in the back. So yeah, now we've gotten this ape set up now, so it's like, is this the opposing Annihilate ape able to knock out this Dragonite? Especially now that this Dragonite has minus defense in its stat profile now, whereas the Annihilate...
Sorry, to continue.
No, you go.
I was going to say, this is a focus session, Annihilate. Yep. What are the odds that this is an adamant ape rather than a jolly ape? Because I did see the what's his name, Z1's Annihilate going before Yoav's Annihilate.
Yeah, there's a chance it's probably faster than in that regard. But now, at this point, probably the aim is just now a coaching mon for the most part.
Tailwind.
Tailwind.
Rage Fist is definitely the play here.
Yes, yeah, it's like... Because you want to, you just need to do as much damage as you can to annihilate now. Because yes, that does a huge chunk now, and there's not going to be real too many opportunities to sustain back up. That said, what's going to probably happen is get a Misty Terrain up so that you completely neutralize Scale Shot to like do negative damage, and then most likely than not have Sinister in the back as the healing / another redirection user. But that's when we need a pressure from elsewhere right now to see if we can not create that situation happening.
Okay, this is Lord Golding. I think this is even with a light screen, because of the speed on this Annihilate, on the opposing Annihilate, I think it's very possible that just raw Make It Rain plus Scale Shot just is able to just one tap. You just have to start doubling up the 8 at this 20 times.
So there's two different ways. Either it's like, I'm assuming there's a Sinister for the healing in the back, so that healing would give that burst to potentially live both hits. Or that's why it's like, at this point, I think there's no reason not to nasty plot, because then, although you don't want to just get randomly hit on, so it's a real tricky spot. It's like, you could double up into it, but it's like, what if then it's just, you know, a protect set up the other screen, and it's like, okay, now this is awkward. So we'll see what we got going here, because there's all sorts of combinations that could happen. So we're switching out the Dragonite, bringing in the Rillaboom. That's not going to stop any Misty Terrains if that does happen, as the Misty Terrains would happen after the switch. But now we're just switching out. I'm presuming the Sinister, there's going to be a lot of sustain thanks to Lefty's Drowsy Terrain and the Hospitality, so this healing's going up quite a bit. So now it's depending how much is this like for... Yeah, here's the Protect. Yep, so now what's going to happen next? So I don't think... Yeah, so now we've Shadow Balled. Sadly, that means Make It Rain on its own is probably not going to be enough, and what will happen is Sinister's going to start Rage Powdering, and then the Annihilate kind of goes hat. So now we're kind of hoping that...
There's two things about it right now that's going to happen. I think the first thing is how trained is this Rillaboom, because this is...
Yes, no, that's what I was going to say. It's
116 Adamant. I don't think this double up with Make It Rain.
No, and I don't think Reflect was set up, I believe, but... Yeah, so Make It Rain Rage Piss, Make It Rain it might actually pick up. It depends how much this does. Oh yeah, that should be more than that should be more than enough. Alright, so we might have found our little window. Rillaboom was definitely a good adaptation, as Rillaboom was not here or was not present in the previous round.
Was Sneasler, I presume.
Yeah, it was Sneasler, but Sneasler could not do anything as there was too many ghost types, and Misty Terrain was on the field, causing Diaclaws to have 0 impact. So now we're in a good spot. We're now with 2 support bonds on the field. Yes, Sinister can technically do stuff, but to get in front of a Golden Go, especially with the moveset of just simply much a gotcha, I think we're in a comfortable spot now for Yoev that we might be heading towards the game 3. Rillaboom was such a great choice, as you can't get Rage Powdered. You could get Followed Me, but that mouse was already taken care of super early on, so...
And I'll go there with just...
Yeah, this is just now... We're
just now clicks Nasty Plot, and then just makes it rain.
Yes, exactly. We're playing the save game. We're just playing the save game now, as Rillaboom's just hitting the super effective type, and then Golden Go's just setting up just to confirm itself that we've got this game, we can bring it back. I mean, we could get some burns here, but I don't think it's going to matter too much, as Golden Go is going to take so little damage, as both the only offensive moves on both Klefki and Sinister are not very effective, so it would take quite a bit until it could knock the Golden Go out. So I think we're just waiting for a Make It Rain now. Oh, we're just knocking it out. Yeah, there we go. So now we should be heading into game number 3 between the 2 players now. So that's pretty good. Last time though, opposing players started with Klefki and Annihilate. Might return to that to set up the screens first before the redirector, because having that redirector early was not
definitely
as neat.
didn't make a big difference. But
No,
the problem is
like
he can just ignore the ape for the first. Like, I'm not sure if leading the knight is the correct answer.
No,
It
so
could be because
yeah.
it's the game one, how game one was. I was watching. I saw that the Dragonite was just like it couldn't do anything. It clicked haze and then clicked tailwind and then it switched out. Like it was very low value.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to have a Dragonite at the back this time. If he's even
Yes.
going to bring it,
Yeah.
I think it's very worth it bringing it
Yes,
because
because of the speed control
of
and
the
haze.
tailwind.
You also have haze control on any potential out of control bulk ups, which was what happened last time. But the problem was the ape got too set up, and then the Dragonite was also worthless with the Reflect and Mystic Terrain out on the field. But the adaptation of the Rillaboom this time round did cause the Rage Powder not to be affected. This time, though, I would think there will be more preservation of the Mouse Hold, so that the Rillaboom does not become the threat to the Annihilate as it was before. So we'll see.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I think the key is really, if we're sticking to the Mouse 8 plan anyway, and not like completely flipping the script onto the Archaludon side, I would think...
It's very likely because the combination of considering that he now is bringing Rillaboom, Archaludon becomes a much bigger threat.
Yes.
Because with yours doesn't have a way to deny range, so it has a way to 30.
It's always just gonna be a nicely comfortable 3 hits. Although maybe worried about like all the fake outs pivoting around, but you shouldn't worry about Incineroar coming along when you've got a Defiant Ape in the mix of things.
This user also is Grassy Seed, so
it's
it
Grassy
doesn't carry
Seed.
fake out of the shoe.
Yeah, it's also got Rock Tomb for speed control as well. So
that is a tech, okay.
Yeah, no, he's done well with this tech. It's been interesting to see. But yeah, we're going with the same stuff. This time though, we're still sticking with the Rillaboom, as that was the big key difference. This time though, we'll see the opposing adaptation. Are we leading the Clefairy again, like we did game 1, because that's what worked before? Or are we changing it up once again? No, we've gone back to El Clasico Mouse Ape. Are we going to be... Last time we saw the Terra Ghost, but that did not come into fruition, as we were predicting a final Gabbat that never came. But as we saw, that was never needed, as the final all it took was just simply a coaching plus scale shot to knock out the mouse. So now that we know that...
The big question that I have here is, what is the Terra on this Annihilate?
We've got the sheets here. The Annihilate is a water... The opposing Annihilate is a water Terror. So it's a water Annihilate. So definitely don't want to do that now we know that Rillaboom's in the picture. So... Are we double protecting, or are we just protecting the one, knowing that okay, so we know that only the one's coming in, so we're doing something to say. Are we bulking up? Are we just simply propping the thing? No, we've just got the bulk up. So now what we're doing with this D-Knight here,
Tailwind, that's massive.
That's nice, because now you can just simply haze, or you can
you click coaching scale shot.
You can just coaching scale shot, knock out this mouse. And all you're kind of worried. You're not really worried, because all it is with the ape is a simple +1 bulk up, but with no Rage Fist stack, so it shouldn't do.
The important part, and that's the most important part, there is no Rage Fist stack, so this Rage Fist is not gonna be doing pitiful damage.
It's not gonna do.
So it's very important now that you just keep this opposing Annihilate away from getting Rage Fist.
Yes, exactly. And with this coaching, even after the scale shot hit, you'll just be neutral in the defense boost, so you'll still be perfectly fine. So we're following here, although this did not affect Yoav's decision whatsoever, as in these comps, the real priority is getting rid of all these redirectors and beat up mons for this Annihilate. You don't want the Annihilate to set up. You can easily haze away the bulk up boost later. It's just get rid of the potential support mons now, so that we can deal with the 8 later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is a good decision on your end to first prioritize the tailwind over this, like, considering that he went for coaching scale shot lost game
Yes.
on turn 1. Have now decided to change up and go for tailwind in close combat and just try to get rid of the mouse of wild tailwind us.
As we saw this time around compared to the second game, the Rage Fist didn't even brought down the ape to sash range, so we can see how much damage it's really doing even on a super effective hit. We brought in the Sinister as another redirect, but there's no healing needed. I'm kind of shocked that I know we had a screen mode before with Misty Terrain, which would have helped deal with the scale shot situation. But we kind of went away from our what worked game 1. So maybe we're thinking, oh, it might not work again. But it's like,
I think it just works perfectly considering that you completely denied Dragonite to begin with.
Yeah,
exactly. Terrain.
But now we can't.
Look at this Dragonite. It's just like
it's just going insane.
So much pressure.
It's like we've hit a point where you had the Reflect and Misty Terrain to completely neuter it. Maybe you were worried about Klefki getting Final Gambited on, but even then you have Ghost Terror on Klefki as well if you're worried about that. So it's like your big win, or like your big defensive piece. Yeah, so now this Dragonite has game 1 the opposing Annihilate went out of control. This Dragonite's gone out of control right now, and the opposing is not setting up any more bulk ups. So this Dragonite's just really going insane here. That said, we've got now a Trick Room here now, so maybe something else can come out from this, but as we saw before, Rillaboom was a big factor in these things. And
the biggest factor was not being redirected by Rage Powder and just being able to say, I'm just gonna do 70% to Annihilate.
Well, now the thing that's now tricky now is because of this Trick Room, Tail Room stuff, Dragonite's now at neutral. Normally a nice little tricky thing you can do as Ape is, okay, at the turn that the Dragonite scale shots, I can Rage Fist into it, just so then it's at -1 and then I get a bigger hit in. But now you're just going in it neutrally, and then the Dragonite goes for its scale shot. So
yeah, that is a big thing as well.
It's a different damage counts, so which benefits the Dragonite a lot more than things. We're just doubling up into the Ape. So if we're switching out, we're kind of hoping for a protect on this Ape here for this. Especially if I'm wanting to set up the Klefki stuff going on here. Oh, we're tearing, the Terra Water's coming. This is very nice because we've now kind of baited this out, considering what we know what's in the back. So, unless it gets dealt with now, it won't really matter too much, especially...
Another Bulk Up coming from the Annihilate. This is going to help a lot with these scale shot coming.
Yes, because this is a plus
Dragonite?
2. Yeah, this is a Life Orb, Gold Shadow Ball. Should do a decent. Oh, this might pick. It is a +2 bolt.
It is enough because it's +2 attack Dragonite. Don't forget about that.
It's basically neutral because it's a +2 attack versus a crit happened, but I don't think it particularly mattered in that instance. So this Ape's gone down. Now we're left with the 2 support mons. Once again, on Ape, we can still damage the Dragonite, but we're not really going to be able to damage this Golden Go that's on this field now. And we're stuck with the support.
And don't forget, there's a Rillaboom at the back, which...
Exactly. So we've got these 3 offensive pieces versus 2 defensive pieces, with one of them being with one of it being very damaged. So I don't think there's much to it. I think the Clef came too late into the match to be used effectively. It was very good in game 1 because it was led with, and it was able to set up at least a screen or Misty Terrain or both. And then after that, bring in the redirection to then for the Annihilate to go out of control. But because we went away from that thinking, oh, Mouse 8 worked well game 1, but really what set it up was the screens and terrain to get it going for the Dragonite and crew not to do any damage to the Ape. Yes.
This is Diego team.
No, because Diego did bring a Scrafty Trick Room team during... Yeah, it is his, because he was the one who did the whole Dragon Tail stuff on Scrafty.
Oh, gosh.
which stops like all the boosts which actually helps against all the boosts. I haven't seen the other implications for it because I haven't been watching the games or anything that he's done with it, but I can see the implications with Dragon Tail. You phase out all the boosts, you get things out of there. I don't think it's as effective against Dozo because Dozo, I think, once in Tatsu form can't be phased out, I believe. But
yes, it can't.
Meanwhile, we're on the Dozo side of things. We've got just standard Dozo attack booster Tatsugiri where we get our
Hold
order up
up,
going.
this is Bandit Dozo with
Oh my
Oblivion.
lord, it's just go hard and it's oblivious. So no,
Stealth Rock Archalodon as well
yeah,
with Power Head
this
Stamina.
this is something on the here.
This is cooking. This is very
Stealth Rock
cooking
will
here.
go insane against the Torkoal Armourouge, although usually if Armourouge is coming, it's usually at the front, if anything. So the thing is I was just about to say Diego, but it's Joji, because Joji's just using Diego's team.
Yeah.
Because this is upper hand Gallade and everything. It's funny having upper hand, a priority move in a room with like Trick Room, with Psychic Terrain, but it makes a lot of sense if like the priority moves is coming from like the if it's coming from like any levitating or flying mons, as well as, well, if you simply have a terrain change, if like a Rillaboom comes in, well, now you can just upper hand that kind of thing. So
by the way, match starting.
Yep,
Match
here
is
we
starting
go.
now. And I have to go, unfortunately, because I'm playing Pokemon Go today.
Oh, all good.
But I will be back in roughly 3 to 4 hours.
Care.
If it is still happening.
Yep, no, all good.
Alright, catch you later.
Yep, catches. So now we've got Armourouge Scrafty versus DD Male Sneasler. So we've got the Psychic Seeds popping off from everywhere on the field. The Death Boost on the Armourouge, and the one on the Sneasler. We've got in the Intimidate boost, so the Sneasler doing nothing. Sneasler probably not going to base on the Scrafty. I assume Sneasler can't knock out this Scrafty, but this Scrafty's in a very nice position. So what is this Armourouge here doing? Are we just clicking Expanding Force, but with the slowest thing in the field technically? So how are we going to go about it? The Expanding Force has a lot of value as it will straight up nuke the Sneasler unless the Sneasler decides to tear into the dark. But then this Scrafty just has free reign to click knock off into this DD or Brick Break, or Brick Break into a Terran Sneasler. It's got the options, or just simply Dragon Claw things out into the way. We've got the Dire Claw off. We've got a effect going on. Luckily for Joji, it was just the poison. You take that any day of the week because the poison is probably the lesser of the three evils, as we would like to say. Here comes the Dragon Tail. Out goes the Indeity, breaks the sash. Dragon Tail breaks the sash. We get it out. We force a mon coming in. We see what other people. I think the other thing about Dragon Tail, you get to see what's in the back. Now that we see the Archalodon, we now can kind of confirm that the Dozo combo is not in play. So we're in a comfortable spot. We're in Trick Room, and now Scrappy is more freely able to just knock off on the Archalodon, so get rid of the Power Herb stuff, and then after the power, you won't be able to get Electric Shot, you won't be able to get a boost, making your only attacking move being Draco Meteor. And then against an Assault Vest thing, Assault Vest Crafty, you won't be able to do too whole lots of this. This Archalodon's in an awkward spot right now. So we'll see. But now we've swapped out the Scrafty, brought in the top. We're in the sun now, so we're just gonna bring out heavy fire damage. We could just simply, we're just double switching, so we'll see what's going on here. Switch out the armory. We bring in the Ursula. Oh, we've just brought in the two heavy Trick Room mons. We're in Trick Room, so we've just heavily brought in the two heavy hitters. So hopefully this Ursaluna decided to do a big. Oh, we've just gone for a protect. That is sad news. Sad news bears right there, because now we've got this Ursaluna that's online and a Torkoal who has no reason but just to click Eruption on this moment. Probably just goes Terra Fire Eruption and calls it a day. Thank you for playing. So, although we don't have Terrafire, we're just Terra Grass on this Torkoal. So, we're still going to click Eruption nonetheless, though, as we're Charcoal boosted. With also the Ursaluna, just going to click on a Mon that's probably resisting the move. So, there's going to be a lot of doom and gloom going on here. So, I can only imagine it's an Eruption as well as a headlong rush into the Archaludon slot, whereas on Chloe, I gotta have to somehow get rid of this Trick Room, but it's gonna be way too hard. Because the Trick Room, there's too many turns left. The Eruption's gonna go nuts. That's all that wrote for this DD here. Yeah. And now, obviously, because of the Protect, the Ursaluna's not gonna do a whole lot. Just take some Bird Chip. But how are we gonna get out of this Trick Room now? We've got too many turns left. I believe there's 3 turns of Trick Room left. 3 or 2, either or. It's still a lot. Gotta hope for a double or triple Protect. That said, we do have Dozo. So we don't have the Tatsu, but we do have solo Dozo. But we're in the sun, but this allows... Dozo will be slower than the Torkoal is the thing. Because... No, sorry. Apologies. Torkoal is naturally slower, so Dozo is still... So Torkoal is still the fastest thing on the Trick Room, then it's the Dozo, and then it's Ursaluna, depending how we spare it. Although because of it's the Tatsu version, there might be some speed investment in this Dozo, causing the Ursaluna to underspeed the Dondozo here. So meaning, this Dozo, it can go for Earthquake if it doesn't care about its partner too much, because then that way you can hit everything. The thing with this Charcoal Torkoal, it's got a lot of coverage here. It's got Solar Beam if it wanted to. Unless we're just baiting out moves here and there. We'll see what's going on here. We've got the Terra Grass Torkoal. I imagine the Solar Beam's coming on. Unless the other combo that's going on here is when with this Terra Grass, we can Eruption. We can then Earthquake. We've got all this spread damage going on here. So here comes Eruption number 1. Oh, it does not even matter. I think we're just going to be hitting our Torkoal for the fun of it. That critical hit was huge. I do not think it mattered in the slightest, especially if we went for an Earthquake here. We're just going to be hitting our own friendly Torkoal. Poor little Tail Shell getting hit by the bear. The source of damage to it. It's a little chunk, little chip. And now we've just gotten the solo Dozo left against the whole world. It's probably just going to be clicking Earthquake Daze, which was fine considering it. But that said, the Armarouge that is in the back does in fact have Wide Guard. So if it does go for the Earthquake, the Armarouge in the back just gets to click Wide Guard until in struggle range, or the partner just knocks out the Dozo itself. So at this point, this Dozo's quite sadly stuck in a spot. You wouldn't want to click Earthquake just because of the Torkoal, but you kind of have to because there's too many mons to take out at once. So that's it for game 1 for Joji. Right on that side. Now we're here for game 2. What's going to be the adaptation? That Dragon Tail kind of put things in an awkward spot because you could knock off the power, make Draco Meteor kind of worthless. Oh, sorry, make the Electro Shot worthless, but then you're just stuck with Draco Meteoring and there's not too much value there, so how are we going to adapt to this next game? We could just go nuts with the whole Indeed Sneasel side, which we tried to do, but that didn't work. Or we still got the a Talonflame with Rain Dance, which is kind of funny, but it makes sense if you want to try combat it, but because it's not pranks or anything, Torkoal comes in once Trick Room's set up, so it's kind of hard to bring the Talonflame in. We could start off, we could just simply try to do the combo and hope for the best. Because that's all Dozo's good at doing Dozo things. It's called the Dozo magic. And especially because we've got Oblivious in this Dozo, so no Intimidate drops from this Scrafty will take into effect. But we do have a Gallade if it ever comes in with Sacred Sword to ignore any defense boost that it has gained from the Commander boost of the Tatsugiri. So we'll see what the players bring for our game number 2. Where Team Dozo versus Team Trick Room. see what they even pays for. Alright, here we go. So we got the side spam of Indeedee Armories. We've gone for this combo now as the starting lead versus the Dozo Sneeze Loss. So this time we didn't see the Indeedee in the first game, as that was never shown to be coming in. But as now we've got an adaptation from Joji's side despite winning. So we've now got Team Side Spam versus Team Dozo, which is kind of spooky at the same time as we can get the Dozo combo up and rolling. Depending if we can see there's a earthquake of any sort. But with the Armory here, it's got a good terror for whatever move this Dozo wants to go for. That said, it is Commander boosted as well as Choice Band boosted. So in a way, it is +3 right now. So, despite terror, it might still take too much damage from a wave crash. Or it can simply just go for an order up if needed. Here goes the terror on the Armory. The Grass Terror hoping to live a hit. And if it does, Trick Room is most certainly coming up right now. Most likely either a Psychic Expanding Force plus, or I see what we're going here with. So this way, even if the Indeedee goes out, we've got our Trick Room on the back. So we're Follow Me plus Trick Room here. We're going to bring in one of our sweepers. We do have with this, we do have a Pokefolk in back which has Clear Smog, so we can get rid of these boosts. As this Dozo is a Ghost Terror non-Dozo, so meaning it cannot block this upcoming Clear Smog if there is a Pokefolk in the back to help deal with it. Assuming it is here. We're about to find out if it is or not. There we do have a Torkoal. And we have a Clear Smog potentially coming up on the way. And there's nothing that's considering we're choice locked, there's nothing that this poor Dozo can do anything about it. It's staring a turtle down in the face. Wave crashes in the sun. It's not gonna do a whole lot. It's stuck here. Here comes the Clear Smog. We're at neutral now. I guess +1 takes for the choice band. But man, we're about to see how much a choice band and wave crash in the sun is gonna do. We're about to see it. Here we go. Oh, well, we're not going to see it. And just flat out, because good old Dozo. Special defense was always the bright spot for it, and Armory took good advantage of that. But now we're in Trick Room. We've got two speedy fellas. We've got a Choice Scarf Tatsu going on here. We've got a Sneasler. The only issue is we're facing down a Torkoal, which looks like it's just gonna erupt on everyone, as well as we've got a Expanding Force. We're just in the clicking the funny button moment here. I think we're just in the moment where things are getting cleaned up. I think there's not too much. That said, we are getting a Terra going, probably the Terra Dark. Yeah, maybe so we can be immune to the Expanding Force, but sadly, it's not going to do too much against the Eruption, as we did lose our Psychic Seed boost earlier, thanks to the opposing Psychic Terrain. As we just get cooked up by the Eruption. Sad time for the Sneasler. And this Tatsu is not long for the world, as well as an Expanding Force is on the way for a one-hit knockout. Well, it's already been chipped, but thanks for the Eruption. But That expanding force was really overkilling, and now we're stuck with an Archaludon as the last blinding hope. It can get an Electro Shock off, but I don't think there's much else it can do, especially we're still under Trick Room, and that's all for that match right there. Well done to Joji, nice cleanup. That Dozo, it tried its best, but not against the Trick Room as much as it could. And we saw how well Joji could pilot the Diego team choice, the Scrafty. There's a lot of fun, neat stuff going on here. Trick Room is a hell of a team to watch and play. Once again, you're in very low health, you'll get a huge burst of HP to regain more than you would with Citrus Berry, but it's usually a bit much more difficult. Not too difficult, but sometimes a bit more eerie on proccing the berry itself. Whereas on Sky side, we currently have the Hydreigon balanced team where it's just your standard Golden Go balance with a Hydreigon utility on the side here. As well as an Ursaluna for big having Trick Room support to combo with the P2. We'll see how this all goes, as we've got a lot to go on here. There's a lot to either get the Skull and Go all set up, or will Rain just kind of do its magic tricks as it's been doing all regulation. Rain's been a very good archetype this regulation. If you're going into a tournament without a Rain matchup, what are you doing? You need to be ready for Rain one way or another. But we'll see how we go here, as the trainers have led off with Instant P2. So we're looking at the Trick Room mode here versus the Archaludon Pelipper. An El Clasico right in the making here. Usually with this combo, normally the P2 usually safely gets a Trick Room up. Usually a Fake Out can safely go into one or either of the slots, and then we'll be able to do. So either we'll get yourself a stamina boost with the Fake Out, but this P2 should be getting a Trick Room off one way or another. Oh, no Fake Out, so this is just a free Muddy Water. So we'll be this. This Archaludon's free to hit, but looks like everyone's going to be so beefy enough that it won't particularly matter. So the Electro Shot's coming in. We're retargeting. We're hitting. Whoop. We're targeting Is it the P2? It's the Instant, the P2. The P2 slot. It lives very comfortably here. We're Parting Shot. I can only imagine a Trick Room's following here. So we're Parting Shot most likely into Ursaluna, I can imagine. This is just a classic. Parting Shot into Ursaluna, set up Trick Room. You get the Flame Ward active right away. And then the Ursaluna should be able to start going hard into the game. That said, the Pelipper does make it harder, knowing that it's a flying type, so you can't just freely Earthquake and hit everything as you please. The Archaludon here is, as most have. Oh, yeah, no. This Archaludon is a Stellar type instead of what we've been seeing sometimes being the Bug type to resist the ground move. So there's no 50-50s to be hit here. So this the Ursaluna can just freely click Headlong Rush into this Archaludon slot if it wishes. Otherwise, the other 50-50 that's happening is this Pelipper going to go for a Ghost move, Ghost Terror or not, if you're wanting to Facade it or not. Otherwise, you could just simply ignore the Pelipper, as if you're tearing, as we're seeing with the Ursaluna, you won't take as much from the Weather Ball as you would like, as the super effective hit won't be as mattering. And we do see double Ghost Terror going on here. So, one avoiding the Facade, one just not wanting to get hit by Weather Ball, and potentially Body Press as well. P2 just healing up, as it has nothing else it wants to do. Here comes the Headlong Rush, as you take it out. Yep, easy peasy lemon squeezy. This Ursaluna does one hit knockout. This Archaludon. This bridge, not long for the making, really. Now we're up to this Pelipper to go for a... Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not a Weather Ball set. It's the Muddy Water. But, as we can see, the pros and cons of Muddy Water, you can't get redirected. It's a spread move. Cons, though, as we saw there,
You can miss, especially if it's on a particular target you're wanting to hit. Especially if you're trying to go after the accuracy drop to help maybe alleviate some of the pressure. But we're also in this Ursaluna, we have a mouse hole. Issue here with this mouse hole, its only move is population norm. What's hyping this Ursaluna currently? There's not too much threatening this Ursaluna right now. It's free to Earthquake. Especially because we've lost the flying typing. Does this Pelipper have it? This Pelipper does have Wide Guard though, so we could maybe predict an Earthquake from happening, but if we're going for a protect, we're clearly not wanting to click Wide Guard here. But this leaves Pelipper very vulnerable to whatever might be happening right now. So another Headlong Rush could be on its way right now. Oh, no, Earthquake. So we're hitting our own P2, but we're also hitting the Pelipper here. So we're seeing what's going on. We live easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but we're hoping for accuracy drops here. No accuracy drop to be seen. So, do we do any Wide Guard shenanigans here, or are we just clearly going to go pop bomb into... Or are we just going to have to go for a hit? Because otherwise you're going to go for a double protect. Although we only got 2 Trick Room turns left, so it's like, how are we living this turn? Because this Ursaluna is clearly wanting to Earthquake, regardless of the P2 on the field. The P2 can just simply heal itself up, and then the Ursaluna just goes nuts. We'll just see this Ursaluna is just kind of hitting everything as it's wanting to. Nothing's really stopping it in its way. It's just taking one thing at a time. Take that. Well, we're going for the wire, predicting an Earthquake. It may come, it may not, but we should realize that my slide is absolutely worthless here, that we just have to hit the Pelipper. Oh, here comes an Earthquake. The Wide Guard did come in clutch. So, meaning the P2 is the one that should be taking damage here only, whereas Mousehold and Pelipper are very safe right now. But this Mousehold's kinda a bit sad what's happening here. Yeah, it's trying to pop bomb. Really hit the ghost type, sadly. Especially this ghost bear. Scariest kind of bears. There's all sorts of bears out there, but the one that you really don't want to deal with is a ghost bear. Now we've got an Amoonguss to deal with, and it's now the slowest thing on the field. What's the thing's going to be put to sleep? Or, you know, heal up the bear. That's causing issues everywhere. It's like, what's stopping it from just knocking out this Pelipper right here? If you tell you that, this Mousehold can't do a whole lot. We're going to follow me here though. So that means we're doing something here. Putting the Spore, putting the mouse to sleep. We might get another Headlong Rush, which might be interesting. If a Headlong Rush goes here, we'll get lower defenses. So there is a chance for this Pelipper to knock out this Ursaluna, because we're at, I believe it's -2 to death. So meaning, as long as this Muddy Water connects, is the other question. Oh, we've gone Hurricane. We've not letting it happen. The rain stopped, which has lost the boost of it. Guess we wanted to get as much damage onto the Amoonguss as possible. Although that said, the Trick Room turns have now finished. So we're actually in a weird good spot right now. So this Ursaluna should be -2. It should still be, well, we're in the wrong string. But a Muddy Water should maybe take out the Ursaluna here at a -2. And the Basculegion here, I'm pretty sure it all simply needs to do is click Last Respects. Because yes, there's an Incineroar in the back, or you can simply Wave Crash. Everything's low enough that it's in Wave Crash range, and then everything is in Wave Crash range, you should think. So then you would hope, we're now gambling on the Muddy Water. Here comes Rage Powder. So Last Respects is going to hit that. This is actually, oh, Pelipper's fast. That's an interesting thing. Pelipper's faster than Basculegion here. It missed the Amoonguss. Did not matter at all, because honestly, Muddy Water's not doing a whole lot to Amoonguss anyway. It's all going to be about the Last Respects. But this is an interesting speed interaction where the Pelipper is slower than faster than the Basculegion. So some optimal stuff there, because you could have killed knocked out the Amoonguss first, so that the Muddy Water could do single target damage rather than spread damage. Now it's Incineroar against the world. The thing you've got to hope is Incineroar knock out the you should be able to knock it. You have to go for the Basque Legion and hope the Pelipper misses a move. But the Pelipper does not, in fact, miss a move. Although you get another chance, but it's low enough that the last respects is just going to cleanly pick off the Incineroar. And that will be game 1 to Alvis. Well done there. Where we thought the Trick Room was going to go nuts, we sustained, we survived. And like most Trick Room, once you get over the initial bump of the Trick Room team, you're usually happy, cozy, everything's been chipped down. It's just about cleaning it up before the Trick Room comes back again, or the utility pieces go a bit nuts. So now he comes for game 2. How are we going to adapt? Usually for these rain teams, the Hydreigon piece is usually pretty good into the rain stuff, as Snarls just disrupt it heavily. But I suspect that because this Pelipper is a weird one, it has Wide Guard and Tailwind. Sometimes you usually see one or the other. This Wide Guard prevents the Snarls from lowering the special attack on the Archaludon. And despite if that were to be the case, there could be an eventual Murkrow adaptation where Haze just removes the Star Boost that happens. And now we'll come to the next round and see what adaptation comes with the 2 players. We've got many options that we can do here. But we'll see what happens. We go from many different directions. Alvis could continue on the rain side. Maybe Sky might move on from the PP side. We might just lean more towards the Golden Go version of things. And then you get Golden Go rather than first. That said, I think with Ursaluna, I think we could have done more Headland rushes, especially once the Pelipper ghosted. I think knowing it doesn't have Protect, just knock it out, as this mouse hold, it's needless. As we want to knock out the Pelipper, bring in that Basque Legion, and knowing that we're still under Trick Room, that we want to knock it out, because that Earthquake being blocked by that Wide Guard that one turn, there was no real need to stop the mouse hold doing it, because Pop Bomb does nothing. As we saw, it did end up doing a following bot, but everything came that one turn later, so it just needed to be a bit more on the gun a bit earlier. But sometimes it is what it is. There's 100 decisions that could have come into play then, but it is what it is. We're into down round number 2. Game number 2, sorry, and then we'll see what adaptations are to be brought. Now, the adaptation that Alpha's can do, especially because of this mouse hold set, is taunt the Porygon 2. Just so there's no Trick Rooms that happen, and then all of a sudden you're in a very good spot. But we'll see, because it was close before, but I wonder if we can figure out how to make it even better. I'd say we've got some interesting choices on the way. Are we going to be able to pull off the trickery though? Because there's a lot of interesting techs that can have happened here. It's just a matter of we're going to go with it. Are we going to click accept? Are we going to click done? Are we going to enjoy what we see here? And who knows how Sky will adapt to the situation. What will they bring to the table to be able to gain a win on the table and bring it down to game 3? Let's see here. Right now, as we saw with ours, we're leading with a Blastoise and Mousehold, which is an interesting Mousehold set, because then we've got a Dragon Terror on that side of things. I don't think it will be as applicable here, as there's a few things that hits the Dragon. They're doing some Ice Spins and such. But here we go, we've got Instant P2 again, so we're going back to the Trick Room side. I did show the hand of Trick Room Parting Shot to bring in the Ursaluna to get that set up immediately. So what's stopping the Blastoise from just simply clicking just Water Spout on rip? Considering, as we saw before, that with Trick Room we kind of don't want it. Yeah, we could just simply let it rip right here and taunt. I would honestly, if Follow Me is good, because then you don't get the Parting Shot stuff happening, or you could just taunt the Porygon just so that there is no such thing as a Trick Room kind of this turn. But we've got a Follow Me, so we've got different things that can pop up here. So we've got a Terra going on here. I believe it was the Terra Water. So We're hoping there is a fake out into the slot, otherwise there's a lot of damage being dished out here. Especially if a parting shot comes. Here's the fake out, but it's onto the mouse hold instead. Don't want to get taunted. But this water spout is going to dish out a lot of damage. Porygon 2, I can imagine it's going to live on a slither. But Instant is no way it's living. Oh my gosh, it did live it indeed. A critical hit on a Porygon. Damn. This Blastoise fella doesn't do a lot, huh? Unless it's boosted. You know, you would think it would knock that out, but clearly this Incineroar is trained very, very bulky. Porygon 2 was always going to live the hit, but that was a lot more comfortable than I would imagine, even after a critical hit. So now we're in the Trick Room mode. But what's stopping from the Water Spout pass follow me again is the issue. Porygon 2, based on the way it lived that critical hit, it will live another hit, so it can either recover or go for a hitting move if need be, as these ones are the slowest on the field, but thanks to Mouse Hold on the field, it is Follow Me. So we'll see what happens here. We've got a Paragon, we're going Terra Fighting P2, assumingly Terra Blasting into this Mouse Hold, just to get it off the field as quickly as we can, so that Incineroar is able to hit the Porygon 2 slot. Hit the Blastoise slot. So by knocking out the Mouse Hold here with Porygon, Incineroar should either knock off or Parting Shot into the Blastoise, weakening Water Spout damage. So here we go, that knocks out the Mouse Hold nice cleanly, that is absolutely fine, we saw that coming. And now this Incineroar, are we knocking off or Parting Shot? Yes, because there's no item to knock off as it was the White Herb before getting intimidated off. So with now Parting Shot going minus special attack, but this is still not stopping something from getting hit by a Terra Water Warding Spout. Yes, it's -1, so maybe, like before, maybe there's an Amoonguss to take a hit and then start firing off spores. Yes, here we go, we're gonna eat this. We saw Porygon 2 live comfortably after a crit, so unless another critical hit happens here, this Porygon 2 should be living comfortably. Yep, exactly right there. So Porygon 2 can always go for a recover, and there might be a spore on its way coming here. But now, we're in the weird situation. How do we get around this Amoonguss that's just slower than everything and is willing to put everything to sleep? So do you go for double spread moves here? Just Water Spout or Muddy Water just so you can get the damage and potentially get misses happening, because you could get an accuracy drop and then more future spores could miss. Our options are here, but it's like we need to somehow are we predicting a spore onto the Blastoise slot? Or what's happening here? Oh, no, the spore's gone onto the Pelipper slot. So we've lost a turn with the Blastoise. Nothing's happening in that slot. Porygon might be going for a recover hit. Yeah, it's going recover. So the progress made on this Porygon to up to 2 Water Spouts have been negated. It's probably in the spot where it would have left off on the first Water Spout if it did not have a critical hit on it. But we're now here now. Porygon 2 is very healthy. But Amoonguss is just firing off spores. It has no reason not to. You can just fire it off into the Blastoise slot. Happy days. Pelipper here has a guaranteed... Oh no, it tried to go for a move, so it could potentially wake up here. And we've got 2 Mons here, super weak to the flying move of Hurricane. So, yep, this bridge is going to sleep. This was seen. We're saving the Blastoise in the back, hoping to bring it back in when the Trick Room is over, but we're going to have to find a way to deal with this Amoonguss. This is our big threat here. Big Mouth, the Pelipper, still asleep. So, we're going to go for a move. There's Archaludon because it's swapped in onto the Spore. This turn is a guaranteed turn of sleep. So regardless of what it wants to do, unless it magically had Sleep Talk, it's not doing a thing this turn. Now, the Amoonguss, it can either start Pollen Puffing, or it could even think, oh, it's the only thing it can really do because everything's asleep this turn, unless you predict a switch and put more things to sleep. Otherwise, not too much else is happening right here. But this Amoonguss, it has the Pollen Puff to start. Yep, heal up the Porygon 2. Porygon gets to go to the hits rather than Porygon wasting power points to heal up with Recover. Nearly knocked out the Pelipper. The time the Agua Berry comes into fruition here, everything's asleep. Everything's not moving around. Nothing wants to move. This Pelipper now finally woke up. Does a Hurricane go off? How much does it do? Oh, barely enough. But we are now in not Trick Room mode. That said, this does not stop things because Porygon simply Rage. Oh, yeah, Rage Powder. Trick Room's coming in, and there's most likely a big bear in the back to bring in. So this is the second amount of Trick Room that is happening. We did get an accuracy drop, so that could come into play, especially with the bear coming in potentially. We are getting an Electro Shot. It's going to be a big hit, but knowing Porygon 2, it will live this with absolutely fine. Maybe if a crit happens, but I don't believe so either way. So we'll see here how much we're doing to this Porygon 2. It's a decent chunk. I don't believe the crit would have done it, but here we go. We are in the next round of Trick Room. You've seen it once, you've seen it twice, and here's number 3, third number Trick Room. And here comes the big bear. That said, because it wasn't parting shots in this time, we do not have the luxury of Flame Orb activating. So we can still do a truckload of damage to this Archaludon, but it won't be Flame Orb boosted, but I believe it won't need it. That said, we have other things to go with here. But now that we've had Muddy Water accuracies, the Porygon 2 can simply miss. Just like that, the Muddy Water has taken its effect. The value of the accuracy drops coming to fruition. Are we going to get more? Are we missing the Porygon 2? We're hitting these protect slots though. Here comes the next Muddy Water. Are we doing a lot of damage? Are we not enough? Here comes another accuracy drop, so there's going to be a lot more missing coming up. The rain has finished, so there's no more electro boosts to be happen unless we switch out the Pelipper here and now. Do we predict any earthquakes? I think there's no reason to the earthquake when there's a flying one on the other side, so it's most likely a headlong rush. But what's stopping Pelipper from going with a Muddy Water? We have to assume that Porygon hits its move. We could always assume it misses again though, but we could also just go for the recover. Because now with that, this Porygon, we're getting a double up onto the Ursaluna. So here comes the Headlong Rush. Should be a knockout. We're at -1 now, but it's not a rain boosted Muddy Water, so Sky's probably hoping for a miss on the Pelipper, but Pelipper should not be knocking out the Ursaluna, considering this is not rain boosted whatsoever. Are we missing that? We missed it again. 2 games in a row where the Muddy Water missed onto the Ursaluna. This Ursaluna, it may be slow in Trick Room, but it is the fastest bear. It's faster than your average bear. So now, we're in a moment here where we're trying to stall out the Trick Room. I believe we've got 2 turns left, so unless we're hoping for some double protect shenanigans, we're kind of just having to go for it for the most part. Going for this Ice Beam because we're assuming we're not living anything anymore. Because if you take a hit, if you take that one hit, you're not doing too many favors for yourself. We're protecting here. And we're just going for the Muddy Waters. Yeah, it makes sense, but you're hoping that Ursaluna does not target the Pelipper slot and just goes for the facades and such. Blastoise could potentially just stall it out, but that said, remember before, Porygon 2 have been missing the Water Spouts have not been knocking out the Porygon 2's low enough, so meaning that the damage is negligible, so this Ursaluna can actually just freely hit, and then if needed be, if for some reason you protected and stalled out the Trick Room, all that needs to happen is Ursaluna protects, Porygon 2 sets up another Trick Room, and as far as I'm aware, it might be very, 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 very hard to get like 5 protects in a row to hope for progress, but then it becomes a PowerPoint war of probably don't have enough protects to live, assuming it all goes style. But here we go, we've got the Incineroar here, stopping something that this Blastoise wants to do. We've got a big facade here. Does this do enough? Yeah, it just knocks that out. So thanks to this, we are now heading towards game number 3 between Sky and Alvis. That was good adaptation on when to bring certain pieces. I think Alvis was just really wanting to try the Blastoise mode. It did a bit of chip. As we saw though, it did barely anything to the Porygon 2, so that was not to the liking. So most likely, more than not, we might be going back to some of the same things. Clearly P2 Instant is the way to go, but there could always be a game 3 mix-up somewhere. Who's going to predict? Who's going to over-predict? There's all sorts of lead games now, as there's all sorts of combinations. Either way, we'll see what the trainers want to bring for game number 3. Here we go. Are we going to go back to the Blastoise plan, or are we thinking Pelipper Bridge is the way to go? Because Pelipper brought a lot of pressure. It allowed the parting shot stuff to happen because Pelipper does not have Protect, so it allows all the single targets to just kind of really hit the Pelipper slot. We seem like to be going back to the same stuff. Are we still bringing in the Pelipper? The Pelipper was doing a lot, but it looks like we might have a differing opinion on that. And it looks like we're going to be steering away from the rain, but I feel like the Blastoise was losing damage because it was firing water spouts when it wasn't in the rain, so it was kind of being a bit in a weird spot, really, lightly put it. So here we go here, and now the next adaptation to be happening is potentially tearing our good old mouse friend here, so that it cannot get faked out, and so then it can taunt out. Oh. Sadly though, this mouse holder is not sadly a Ghost Terror, it is a Dragon Terror mouse, so regardless of what happens, they always get faked out turn 1, so the taunt can never go off onto the Porygon 2, assuming that's what's led again. Mouse Holder also doesn't have a lot of nice targets, as it still has Citrus, and it's also Intimidate. Golden Go has... That said, we've actually got an interesting lead here, because we don't have Instant, we can taunt something. Most likely you're wanting to taunt the P2, because the spot is less detrimental. You might want to get, because the moment you get this, once you get the Trick Room up, the Mungus is just the fastest thing to be able to spawn it. But nah, we've got all the Rage Powder, we've got all the things going on here. We've got the Shell Smash. Based on the momentum and everything, most likely this Porygon 2 has gone into Trick Room mode, and then potentially another Terra Blast fighting into the Mouse Hold slot, because we are going to get... That said, this time round though, because depending how Sky has trained their mons, Amoonguss is faster than Porygon 2 under Trick Room, meaning with a Follow Me from the Mouse Hold thanks to its safety goggles. Oh, it's not even safety goggles. Well, never mind. Either way, you can follow me one spore away and go for a big hit, hoping to knock it out. Get one big Water Spout going, because the Follow Me is going to happen one way or another. It's just a matter of importance of what to knock out. Will the +2 knock out the Amoonguss? Maybe. We weren't so impressed with Terra Water Spout before. I don't think Dragon Terror would be interesting to protect yourself from the potential Dragon Fighting Terror, but as we can see, we're probably going to get a Spore interaction going on here. Things are going to get put to sleep. Oh, but the thing is taunted, so there is no sleeping to be happened, so freely doing Terra Water is pretty good. I would still think Terra Fighting is happening here, as we can see here, so the Terra Dragon might have been the option of choice, but sadly not. Either way, though, we are going to get a bigger Water Spout off, as we're Terra Water, we're Terra Water Spouting. Pollen Path might do a little chip. We are neutral, as the White Herb did restore the defense losses, but this time around we are a +2 Blastoise, so you would hope to think that this Water Spout is going to do a truckload of damage. That was a decent chip, nothing to write home about. But let's see here. Oh, the dick. We're hitting the Blastoise slot. Oh, that did not too much. That still might be enough though to weaken the Water Spout's damage output, which would be fantastic. And now we've taunted both mons, so they can only use offensive moves here. Blastoise going for the hit here. Did a decent chunk, honestly. Still not writing home about, considering we've been weakened. Now, what are we wanting to do here? Are we wanting to follow me? You know last time this P2 knocked out the Mousehold. But with this, you'll be able to knock out the Amoonguss. Are you wanting to do that? Are you wanting to risk it? How are we wanting to spread out this damage? As we saw before, though, I don't know why we're doing. As we saw before, though, there is the combination of Amoonguss and P2 is not enough to deal with Blastoise. So Blastoise could get another hit off, especially as both mons are taunted, so there's no reason to do anything with Mousehold. There is no reason to follow me. You're following me to your death here. Unless you're trying to protect it from water spouts, there's not too much going on here. This is a double up of death onto the Mousehold. So this Mousehold is it had sadly gone to the wayside for the most part. But that said, this Blastoise is now going to be able to launch a big hit off onto a target. Thanks to that, follow me, Ice Beam into the Amoonguss. You would think it would knock it out. Yes, it's done. So the annoying Amoonguss is no longer annoying. But we still got a P2 here on one side, assuming the Ursaluna is in the back. Yes, sir. Thanks to the Ursaluna and Trick Room. There is no Flame Orb just yet, but like last time, maybe you can predict the Protect. But what's stopping spreading the double spread water moves from happening? Especially when one of them is a flying type. When one of them is a flying type and the other's just not. So Earthquake is not too optimal. So doubling up, there is always going to be a big hit coming on the way. So here comes potentially 2 big hits. A Muddy Water and then maybe Water Spout, maybe Ice Beam. Whereas on Sky's side, you want to get rid of this Pelipod potentially. This Blastoise is also annoying as well. It's weakened down. This Blastoise is Torrent, so if you do accidentally put it down and not knock it out this turn, it can just go out of control. Despite Water Spout being weakened due to the HP difference, Blastoise still loses HP. So Blastoise Water Spout does still a lot thanks to Torrent, but now we've minus our deaths. Are we going to be 3-3 of misses of Muddy Waters onto Ursaluna? Ursaluna has been very good, being more than the average bear in dodging. Here we go. Oh, but there's no dodging this time around. We're in the rain as well. That was heavily boosted. A -1 Ursaluna in the rain. This Muddy Water just one hit knocked out this Ursaluna out of the water. Now we've got the Incin P2 versus the Arcalon Pelipper. We are in Fighting Terra P2 mode, so the Terra Blast will do a nice decent chunk towards Arcalon, but we're also weak towards the Hurricanes that can be potentially on the way. We've got one room of Trick Room, but you've got single target mons here. Pelipper could be knocked out by a knockoff here. It could be taken out right here. A fake out into knockout of the... You could fake out onto a slot and then recover, potentially living, but then you're out of Trick Room that turn. So then what do you do the following turn? You could knock out the... Pelipper doesn't have Protect, so you could do this. That critical hit might have brought it down to its berry. It did not. That might have been the most optimal fake out we've seen yet. Didn't bring it to the pinch berry as we saw, as it didn't get to the third, just above the third HP needed to get to the pinch berry. I think it's third, either or fourth. It's either way, a very low amount. The pinch berry did not proc. Here we go for the electro shot. That goes for the P2, and then it's just Arcalon versus Ensign. And thanks to body press shenanigans, we can even click electro shot still because we're in the rain. Might do a bit more considering we have no stacks on body press just yet. But regardless, the battle has been cancelled. Congratulations, Alvis, for the win. Once again, Arcalon and Pelipper, the good old rain duo, does it once again. Here we go. So once again, it's Trick Room versus Doug. Well, Doug P2. So, can the Golden Go or the fast Ursaluna deal with the hard Trick Room side of Diego's team? Can it handle the pressure of the Scrafty? Considering Dragon Tail will just knock everything away. Anything boosting. Golden Go won't be able to find an opportunity to set up, as thanks to Dragon Tail, it'll just knock it away. Dragon Tail can also knock away the P2 before it can even get the Trick Room off, because of how the priority system works. Considering Trick Room is a -5 priority, I believe, and Dragon Tail is a -4, meaning, you know, everything else will go first, and then Dragon Tail, and then Trick Room. So we've got that kind of going on here. We'll see what modes everyone's going to start bringing. It looks like Diego's made his decision very quickly, very confident in what to do against this kind of composition. Bringing the side spam option for the most part, it looks like, despite there being Incineroar. But that's because we're just very confident in bringing it. To be fair, with the Armourouge, we don't care about the instant too much because you can just Terra Grass. And because you don't have an item, thanks to usually Psychic Seed propping off the terrain that the Indeedee provides, that the knockoff isn't going to do a whole lot anyway. Yes, it is. It is I. Chatting from home. I'm not in the event myself, but I'm here, you know, in the booth chatting away about what's happening down there in the games they're playing. Hope you've been doing well as well. Now, here we go. We've got the Slice Man versus Classic Incin Amoonguss. Trying to deal with the Slice Spam one way or the other. Incin's always good into the Slice Spam duo, but that doesn't say the same about the partner, as, you know, Amoonguss is a bit scared of what might happen to it. It is Water Terror, so it might be able to live a hit, although easier said than done for the most part, whereas this Indeedee, it can be comboed on with knockoff plus Spore, considering it does have the safety goggles on it to get, you know, put the sleep on if you're wanting that slot to be asleep. So we'll see here. Got a Terra popping up right here, right now, for the Armourouge, getting the Grass Terra like I was saying before, so you won't be able to get spored at all. Both slots can't be spored. And now knockoff isn't going to do a whole lot because there is no item to be knocked off from on the Armourouge. So it's pretty solid. That said, it's not going to do a whole lot to the Incin itself. Here, though, we have the Grass Terror on the Amoonguss. Sorry, Water Terror on the Amoonguss, meaning the Flamethrower isn't going to do a whole lot at all, and Expanding Force is at least neutral, if anything else. So the knockoff on the Indeedee, slap it, it's gone, it's out here. If it was a critical hit, I'm pretty sure that didn't matter at the slightest. Usually that just, unless it's unbelievably buggy, but I doubt that, especially because nowadays Incins are a bit more offensively built these days. But here's the Expanding Force. We knock out, we do about half to the Amoonguss. It eats berry, so it should be able to live another one pretty easily. So now, what does this Amoonguss do here? Maybe just a simple Pollen Puff. No, we've gone for the Spore just in case there was no Terror that popped up, but that's just not the case. So now, we bring out our next Mon. Now we've brought in Gallade. Now, thanks to the fact that the Amoonguss decided to Terror out of the Poison type, there is nothing stopping it from clicking Sacred Sword into either slot. Whether it gets redirected or not, Sacred Sword has a lot of value here. Unless there is a Golden Go in the bag. But are you really going to switch it out in the things of the, you know, the Armourouge there doing massive amounts of damage? So we'll see what goes on here. I'm pretty sure the Sacred Sword is just going to pick one or the other up, whether a Rage Powder pops up or not. Because we've burnt Terrors on both sides, so there is no other utility on the Terror side of the things. Gallade could also do Trick Room. It also has Up Hand, not as useful when there is a Psychic terrain on the field, but that's not where this is not where it's meant to be happening. There's Sacred Sword, just slashes that out. We did notice though, because there's currently no Trick Room at the moment, that Incineroar was faster than the Gallade, so there might be a time for another round for when that happens. Now, because the Incineroar did get knocked out, it did make the Expanding Force single target damage, making, before, this Amoonguss would have lived comfortably that Expanding Force, as we saw before, as it just did half, so it would have lived it. But because Incineroar got knocked out first, Amoonguss couldn't deal with it. So Amoonguss is out. So now we know a bit more of the speed interactions. This is a slow Gallade, meaning this Dragonite should be faster, meaning it's got its choice to pick. This Ursaluna, however, it sadly does not have a Flame Orb activated, so it's not going to do the damage it wants to do this time, meaning it gives Diego room to set up what it wants to do, whether it's, you know, Trick Room or whether it's You know, either sort of setup moves or anything like that. As we're seeing here, once they get these Intimidate downs, even though there is a Haze user, but once you get that speed control down, this Dragonite probably in a bit more awkward spot, but it is just probably going to start scale shotting, hoping for the best for the most part. Here's the Scrafty. The Intimidate drop on that, it's a -1. Here's the scale shot. That is definitely not doing anything unless for some reason all 5 scale shots critted. That might be your only way out. But this Armourouge is living pretty comfortably, and if a Facade were to go into the slot, I'm pretty sure it won't KO, considering it's not boosted or anything. It's a -1 Facade, no Flame or no Darts boosted. We've gone for the Earthquake option, so we're like 110% living. Here's the Trick Room here. Now this will be interesting speed interactions here, but normally because Ursaluna's on these balance teams tend to be a bit more speedy, just to be able to outspeed certain mons in the higher speed tiers. It's most likely Diego's 2 mons here are currently slower or faster under Trick Room than this Ursaluna here. This Dragonite is 110% the slowest thing here currently, especially after a scale shot boost. It is -1, so it isn't a threat of a hit from the Scrafty. But this Ursaluna is wanting to do big damage now, considering it's got Flame Orb. Here comes the close combat onto the Ursaluna. It does not knock it out. The Ursaluna is always going to be more physically bulky. Like, invested or not, it's just got a lot of natural physical bulk. The Facade into the Scrafty, that's all that rope there. Now, what does the Armourouge do here? Is it just simply Expanding Force, knock out a bit of everything? Yes, it is. So there goes the Ursaluna, and thanks to the multi-scale, that critical strike did not matter, as the Ursaluna was pretty low anyway from the initial hit. Now, we've got the next scale shot. Is this enough? 2. That's number 2. 3. Okay, yeah, it's more than enough. More than enough to wipe out this Armourouge here. Now we've got this one, I think it's one, we've got the Gallade in the back. We are in Trick Room, and because of the speed interactions, as well as Gallade was slower than Ensign, and usually most Dragonites are at max speed now. It's a definitely faster one, considering scale shots active and all that, so Gallade should be able to knock out with a Psycho Cut, assuming no double protects or anything happen. We do have 1 turn of Trick Room left. I think I saw that. It was either 1 or 3, one of the things there. No, it will be 1 turn of Psychic Terrain, 3 turns of Trick Room. So the Trick Room turns are fine. So we're protecting ourselves from that. So what this is going to do, it's going to lower the damage output of the Psycho Cut. But thanks to the scale shots, thanks to the scale shots, Dragonite is on negative defense. So it's still going to cut through like butter. So, this Gallade is about to get a big hit in. Well, we're trying to go for the triple protect here, but here comes the Psycho Cut, and that's all that. So, good job to get Diego for game number 1. We'll see for game number 2 if there's any adaptation to this. As we saw, there was no rush to get Trick Room up, because of all the speed tiers, it's just get the hits in, really, as we saw Armourouge just doing a lot of damage, a lot of chip damage, and then Gallade able to clean out all the hits under the Trick Room. We saw some speed interactions. I'm sure the players have taken note that Incineroar is faster than the Gallade. So clearly this is a very, very speedy Incineroar going on here. Usually most Incineroars are trying to outspeed Blood Moon Ursalunas, like max speed ones, so it's only natural that it will end up being faster than other mons, but clearly that means this Gallade is on the slower side. Makes sense when you're on a hard Trick Room team, you kind of want everything to be on the slower side. Sometimes you want it faster, but in this case, it's definitely a slower mon. So we're going back to the same strategy, it looks like, because the mons are perfect, it's just more placing the pieces around, maybe played a bit differently, if need be. As we saw where the knockoff went off to in the game 1, just knocking out the Ndidi straight up. The Amoonguss didn't have too much value, considering the initial value of the Spore plus safety goggles for the safety goggles plus Terra Grass, meaning there was no real Spore targets. But knowing that, you might think, is there a reason to get rid of this Ndidi turn 1? Because a way you can do it is also just kind of let the 2 mons be there, do their own little thing, stall out Trick Room that way, because Indeedee is not going to do a whole lot to this Incineroar anyway. And it does have a skill swap for ability change-ups, but it's just like, otherwise its Psychic move isn't doing a whole lot to Incineroar, might not work out well otherwise. So here we go. Once again, Sci Spam versus Amoonguss Incin. Are we going to get the same thing? Terra Water, Terra Grass from both sides, respectively. This time, though, I think the Indeedee's like, I'm going for the hit this time. That said, though, Incineroar is most likely faster than Indeedee. Indeedee's on the slower side, so we can probably safely say this Indeedee's probably just about to get not too happy. So here we go again. Terra Water, I assume this time. Maybe this time, though, the Amoonguss is going to go for a Pull and Puff onto the predicted Grass Terra. So, like, you just do the same thing. Knock off into Pull and Puff this time around, rather than the Spore option, as we saw board. Didn't do a whole lot. Oh, that said, though, this time it lived. There could have been some rolls. There could have been a high damage roll. This could have been a low damage roll. This is an interesting development. That said, once like we saw before, half health with the expanding force when it's a double target, so that's absolutely fine. Psychic now a double up onto the Amoonguss. Nothing too much what happened here. We got the Spore onto the Indeedee. So that's the other thing, I guess, what happens. So when you knock off Spore, you get rid of the goggles, and either the Indeedee gets knocked out or it gets put to sleep, which is basically knocking it out, because but even worse, because it's now stuck on the field rather than you being able to happily switch out or, safely bring in another mon like that delayed that happened in the previous turn. So now we're in a weird spot where this Indeedee is kind of just sitting on the field. We're trying to get some turns out. Let's see where it goes here. Most likely, maybe just a more knockout parting shot makes absolute sense, because now you can safely pivot around. Before we saw the Dragonite Ursaluna, we'll see if it's the same thing. Could be potentially Golden Go, but I would imagine it's just the same. Dragonite and Ursaluna, just we've played this turn one out so this first turn differently, or the outcome come out differently, that's caused it this way. Now we've sadly got the Ursaluna in, but now we've got Expanding Force hitting it on the special side. We haven't knocked it out. This was what I was saying before with the Amoonguss. When we knocked out the Incineroar, Expanding Force became a single target, knocking out instantly. And because of Ursaluna coming in safely, it did take an Expanding Force hit, but because of Amoonguss living, it could safely get a Pull and Puff in. Now, Diego's kind of more on the back foot now. You've got a Sleeping Mon stuck in the field. You don't have Trick Room up, so you're most likely on the slower side of things. This Ursaluna is most likely, if anything, most likely Facades on the Armor Rouge slot, because there's no reason not to, as there is no Ghost Mons on Diego's side to want to take a Facade, nor is there a Resist, really. Yeah, you've got Intimidate, but unless I don't know these characters well, but I'm pretty sure a Facade boosted Ursaluna usually knocks out many of Mons. So we'll be seeing here if this is what's going to end up being. So we swapped out the Armor Rouge for the Scrappy, get an Intimidate drop. We brought in the Dragonite over the Amoonguss, so the Regenerator boost happens. Here's the Facade. It does live, but now what do you do here, though? Because you now got it. Indeedee wakes up. Oh, that is huge. We have skill swapped the Ursaluna. So now we've got a Guts boosted Indeedee. But now we have a burnt Ursaluna with no Guts. Facade will still do boosted damage because of the burn, but any ground move that Ursaluna is ever thinking about, it can no longer do as... Well, it can still use them. It just won't be as gut boosted. It'll be, well, half damage. Not as strong as it would like it to be. But the problem is now we're in a spot where, well, probably just happy enough to click Facade anyway. Everything's in Facade range. Everything's going to get one tap, either 2 hit or 1 hit, and you're on full HP. And you still have the utility pieces of Incineroar and Amoonguss in the back room. We've hit ourselves in the spot where, what else is this Facade doing? Are we able to knock this out? Because what's going to happen here is a Scale Shot into Facade. 1 Scale Shot critical hit does not particularly matter at all. Here comes the Facade. Or was it close combat? We're seeing more speed interactions here. We got the speed boost off the Dragonite. That's what's going to be fast up Facade. Here it is. That's going to knock that out. Yep. Because despite being burned, okay, Facade will always get the boosted damage regardless. The burn damage reduction does not apply to the Facade move itself. It's only going to be applying to the Headlong Rush and Earthquake that's on the Ursaluna moveset itself. So, we're now on Gallade. The Gallade's going to do a lot of work here, potentially. It will most likely live a hit. These two can live hits. The issue is, this Blood Moon's huge, but this Dragonite's also a threat because it's full health. It still has multi-scale. So, who are we wanting to double up here? There's two things to double up. I think there's no reason not to, like a Facade is like 100% coming because we all know that the ground moves aren't going to do a whole lot. Here comes the Scale Shot. Is it enough? Is it going to live? Are we going to do not enough? It is neutral because this Dragonite was not one of the Intimidate targets from the Scrafty at the time. Here comes 4 hit. Is that number 5? Is this enough? Whoa, just missed out. Just missed out by barely, just by a sliver. Yeah, there we go. There's a defense drop there. If we went for a hit on that, that's certainly gone. There we go, Psycho Boost. A Psycho Cut from the boost of the terrain, here we go. Is this going to be enough? It's not enough. And the issue is there is an Incineroar in the back that takes no damage from Expanding Force and like not too much damage from Flamethrower itself. So the issue is Incineroar is most likely going to do a lot more damage to the thing. Well, now we've got an extra issue where the Incineroar can now simply fake out Parting Shot, and it's just a fake out cycle now. We can just fake out cycle this to the end of time, especially because Armor has no protect. So it's just fake out hit into a Parting Shot into a hit protect potentially, or there's a lot of things that you can do to safely guarantee your win here at this point. So now, it's all cleaning up. I think we're going to be heading towards game number 3 between these two players. Oh, we're doing something differently here. Maybe it's still a fake out, but maybe Parting Shot as well. Because we know this Incineroar is faster on the field. So we're going to get a fake out here. Yeah, there's the fake out. Clap, clap, clap. And I think what's going to happen here is a Parting Shot, hoping that there's not enough damage into Pollen Puff, because you can keep Pollen Puffing over and over, but it's just a matter of you're trying to catch. We're in this weird game where you can catch the could have caught the Ursaluna switch in. That could have been potentially gaming, but the problem is you won't have enough damage for this Amoonguss here while you're getting Parting Shot and faked out. So this won't do much, I don't think. Yeah, unless that was a critical strike, that's not going to do too much. We are getting a Pollen Puff into there rather than into the Ursula. So this can be interesting considering both are slower than Armoroof, but it's too much. It's too much pressure, especially with all this going on, the fake outs and the retaliations. So that's it for game number 2. We're on to game number 3. Let's see how we want to update our stuff now. I'm doing good though, so both players playing well around the Trick Room options. Lots of different speed controls, a lot of damage control. But as we saw with the skill shot, as cute of as an idea as it is getting rid of the Guts boost of the Ursaluna, we saw it's more than happy just still to click Facade as that move is still boosted. It's just not Guts boosted, but it is still Facade boosted. So, and considering there isn't any normal resists or immunities on the opposing team, Facade can get freely clicked on here. Now, if Diego wants, he can update. He has 2 mons that he hasn't brought to this matchup yet. Potentially could have use here with his own Ursaluna and Torkoal, something more physically bulky to maybe withstand the things, as well as doing a lot more damage back. Maybe able to deal with it, because at the moment, As nice as this size mem start is, this indeed going to fall to the wayside, especially if it didn't get knocked out turn 1. So now, what else do we do here? Do we go, well, we're going back to it. Because as we saw with the Indeedee stuff, you're hoping that the, you actually want the Indeedee to get knocked out turn 1 by that knockoff. But if that knockoff does not do enough damage, Indeedee becomes stuck on the field thanks to the Spore with the safety goggles being knocked off. And then you have the Indeedee stuck off in the field rather than being able to bring out your fighting mon to be able to knock out the Incineroar, then making your expanding force a single target move, which was what allowed the knockout on the Amoonguss in the first place. So we'll see how we play around this game number 3, what different options are in this opener. It looks like the same Indeedee Amoonguss, but then what's on this side? It's still the Amoonguss Incineroar. The classic going on here versus classic over there. So now it's going to be once again, probably Terra Water, Terra Grass going on, the players' respective mons. Maybe Diego mixes it up a bit, does like Terra Fairy or something. But then you just go to sleep and then you just save your Terra on Armorage, but there's no point in doing that as Grass Terra is too huge to be having. But we can see it here, we're just not doing that. We could make a double prediction on both sides, we'll see. The key thing with this, though, the risk of this though is now you don't want Indeedee to faint, because if it gets knocked out here, then the Armorage is going to be the one that gets put to sleep, as there is no Grass Terra to protect it from a follow-up Spore. That's why this Spore plus knock-up play is very good. So here we go, we've knocked that off, but there is no follow me. Keep that in mind. So here comes Armorage with the expanding force. It's going to do half Amoonguss. This time doesn't proc the Citrus Berry, which can be huge, but the Indeedee comes for the hit. Does a big chunk. Citrus Berry from the Amoonguss is going to proc, and then more than likely this Indeedee is going to be put to sleep once again, and then Armorage is going to be kind of stuck on the field right here. So here we go. Indeedee's asleep. Indeedee's now stuck on the field. And its next turn is 100% guaranteed to be put to be asleep, so there's no such thing as waking up this turn for it. So either a switch out might be in order, or like you have to switch out because otherwise you're giving them turns to pivot around. You might give Longyou too many turns to switch up, especially because Indeedee was asleep. We've seen that Armorage has not terrored yet, so maybe that's entices a knockoff over rather than a parting shot option. But we've seen though the Incineroar in this spot has liked the parting shot into the Armorage, while this Indeedee is just kind of nicely stuck on the field here. Here we go, parting shot into the Armorage, and we can see there's still no Terror. So this might entice the Ursaluna to come in. And if that does mean, that means the Ursaluna can immediately get the boost going, and as we saw, skill swap doesn't do a whole lot of difference here, even if you were to get it off. So here we go. Last time this, oh, it knocked out the Amoonguss. That's huge. Last time it lived, that double, there must have been some rolls going on in the game too, because before it lived on a sliver, and it was able to pull and puff up the Ursaluna. But now though, the Flame Orb does go up, but on the plus side, there is no Amoonguss to keep things healthy, to keep things healed up. There is a Dragonite, however, that can just start scale shotting on the mons, doing a big damage steal. You're kind of hoping that Indeedee wakes up here, but most likely they're not. There's no such thing as waking up today. Find out here what the options are. Oh, we've gone with the Haze option. That said, that Haze, as nice as it is, I think predicting any Intimidates coming in, but this Armorage also, it helped the Armorage lose the minus, the special attack drop that it had from Parting Shot. That's surprising then that the Parting Shot took that thing, but there we go. Facade just knocks out the Armorage, which was kind of huge. We're hoping for the Indeedee to wake up. Did it wake up? No, it's snoozing away. But because there's a no Amoonguss, this Ursaluna has one turn left in it. And as we saw before, Scrafty easily lives the hit. We are now in a spot where Dragonite might want to haze again, but Ursaluna only has one hit, so it's most likely might just go for like an Earthquake of sorts, just so it can spread the damage, get rid of this Indeedee before it wakes up. But now we're in a tricky, Longyear's in a tricky spot because Ursaluna is definitely going down here. There's no healing whatsoever to keep it at the top. We're trying to go for a Trick Room option, maybe, perhaps, for the end game cleanup, as we now know that we have Gallade in the back, as we know the speed tiers of Incineroar being faster than the Gallade is for obviously this Dragonite. So if this Indeedee is allowed to survive, it's very good in Diego's favor right here. So here's another haze to stop that Intimidate. Facade most likely coming into this Scrafty to knock it out once and for all. And there goes that knockout. That knocks that out. The Flame Orb should take out the Ursaluna. We're hoping for the wake up from the Indeedee here. Did it wake up? No, it did not. It's fast asleep, snoozing away. So this becomes a little issue because now Incineroar's very fast. I think what happens now is a double up into the... Although it's either one more turn or a guaranteed wake up now for Indeedee, so you can follow me a hit away. But with all the hazes going on, although if a Scale Shot does happen onto the Indeedee, that means the negative defense drop is going to happen. That said, we haven't used our Terra yet, so this is actually huge. With the Terra Fairy on the Gallade, this Dragonite becomes non-existent. So that means you can just safely target the Incineroar, knock that thing out, unless Flare Blitz happily crits the Gallade here. Crits, burns. Most likely then Gallade kind of cleans up thanks to the Terra Fairy, as this Dragonite only offensive move is indeed just the Scale Shot. There is no Extreme Speed, there is no Ice Spinner, there is no Stomping Stone. Any other move that you could probably potentially put on a Dragonite, this one does not have. And thanks to Terra Fairy, this Dragonite is not looking pretty good here. It's looking kind of scared that it's like, uh-oh, I can't hit this thing. Let's get rid of this Indeedee and hope for the best, hopefully. And then this Incineroar, you're kind of hoping to crit, you have to kind of crit for Flare Blitz here. So I'm pretty sure one is not going to knock it out. I could be completely wrong though, but I'm fairly certain. If it does not knock it out here, this Gallade cleans up, as the Dragonite is now, it's basically a 1-1. Yet not enough unless there's a burn here. You're hoping for the 10% burn here. No burn has occurred. And that Sacred Sword is all that row. And unless for some reason for whatever miracle reason the moves can miss, this Dragonite cannot touch this Gallade whatsoever. So we're in the end game where the Gallade has cleaned up the Dragonite, which has ended the game. GG's to Diego for winning this set. And good job, and well done to both players for putting on a wonderful show. It's great to watch a very tight-knit game, but it's also nice seeing how all things get cleaned up here. So, good job for this round, and we'll bring up round 5 pretty shortly. Now, we've got two interesting teams going on here with Knuckle doing the Dozo, 2-2-2, Dozo, Blood Moon, Talonflame, and Indeedee Sneasler, a classics all time. And then we've got the Garganical team. I used a little bit of this in myself, and it's very funny to use. Garganical is an interesting piece. It's able to be immune to all the Dire Claw procs thanks to Purifying Salt. It does take time to ramp up. With the Stealth Rocks, you want your pieces to be able to threaten switches around, but looking at the cool thing, there's not going to be a lot of switching going on, so there's not going to be a lot of Stealth Rock usage going on. It helps break sashes, but I don't think it's going to come into play here. It is good into the Dozo, as you can Salt Cure it and it's kind of stuck on the field. You also have a Ninetales that does the freeze dry stuff to help do more damage into that. The Incineroar has always been an interesting slot. This one has a lot more interesting move slits. This one's got Burning Jessley and Snarl as the Dark and Fire move. No knockoff is an interesting choice. So this Incineroar is a lot more specially oriented, I guess. I mean, the two physical moves is Fake Cloud and Newton, but you've got utility in the Burning Jealousy and Snarl. Although with the you'd think you would like to catch the Dozo, but all Dozo has to do is protect, and the Burning Jealousy doesn't take into effect. However, on the turn 0 plays with, like, say, the Psychic Seed, Burning Jealousy can still take into account, so we can still get the burn on the Sneasler potentially. But here's the Instant Ninetales versus NDD Tatsu. Neither or have a stat boost, so this is meaning the Burning Jealousy is not so effective. That said, there's a lot of snarl value here as there's 2 special attackers on the field right now. This said, the Tatsu is Choice Scarf, so it will be the fastest thing on the field. What can happen is just, we can just get the hits in. Incineroar is kind of an awkward spot. If it takes this Mighty Water, it can eventually have an accuracy drop, miss the moves. In DD, just goes for a hit, hope the Incin misses potentially or doesn't knock it out. We do have a choice. We do have a Focus Sash to live a hit, but with a double up, that won't be much. Although we are setting up an Aurora Veil, so there isn't much going on here. So here we go, Expanding Force. It's only going to hit the Ninetales. Well, we don't have a knockoff, that's right. So Snarl isn't even going to bring it down to Sash. That's a lot of damage. Here's Burning Jealousy. There is no such, that does nothing, because there's no switch-ins happening here. So we just, we can easily Helping Hand Mighty Water. I see the plan. You just now just let the Tatsu do the damage here, which is kind of funny considering it's a Dozo combo. Really, it looks like the main threat is really this funny little fish friend. Especially if you're not getting any boosts, this Burning Jealousy is getting 0 value. And thanks to Muddy Water being, this Tatsu being the fastest thing, this Ninetales, you're hoping for a Muddy Water miss, or you're switching out so they can take the hit. It's just a lot of damage coming on its way. It's like that sometimes. Now here's the Protect from the Ninetales, so it live from a hit. But what is our good old friend Incineroar? We're missing, we can't hit that. Are we hitting the Incineroar? Do we make contact? We do. This is going to be a big hit. Thanks to Assault Vest, though, however, we live the hit. Here comes the Snarl, does big chunk, but everything's chunk. So even with this -1 and Aurora Veil, both mons on the field should be just taken out on the hit. So you can easily swap out the Indeedee to whatever you may be wanting. Interesting choice that we're seeing here. Thanks to this Tatsu option, there's always going to be the back mind of a Dozo. But since we've got Nakul's perspective of things, there is no Dozo. It's all a bait and song here. Yeah, sometimes it's... So it's very eerie as also the player first, because sometimes you get their music choice, so there is no sound going on either end. It's a real eerie feeling. I usually slap put at least one song over and over. I'm not too much of a mix things over. I usually just leave the Kira number 3 theme on. Sometimes some of the Area 0 stuff. Those are usually my go-tos. In this fight, we've got the Dozo on the opposing side now. There's Dozos everywhere. But this Dozo is just the Yawn Curse version. Although with this Yawn Curse version is funny, but it doesn't do much when there isn't a Dozo on the opposing side. So, because the idea is the Garganical is meant to think that helps deal with Dozo, but looking like there is no Garganical on the other side potentially. So but we have set up a Aurora Veil, so we are bulky, but this Dozo isn't looking like it's going to do a whole lot. Diaclaw, there's a lot of Diaclaw freedom right now. So we'll have to see. There is no priority that can be used. The Psychic Terrain is blocking all fake out options. We're now here revealing that we do not have the Dozo combo, so it's just going to be the Tatsu. So after this bear is now in the sights, we see it. What do we send out here? We've got the Garganical. It does show its head. This mod cannot get Diaclawed affected on. Thanks to Purifying Salt, that's what happens. Now we've got the Yawn off onto the Sneasler, so both can double protect to make sure you definitely get it off, although the Sneasler can just happily switch out, as it's probably done its bit, really. And then the Ursaluna can really go for a big hit. No Terra has been expunged yet, so there can be an Earth Power, but the Garganical can always go Terra Flying. But you give up the ground resist and you have a neutrality to normal moves, meaning a Blood Moon could just go straight into it as predicted or you could just simply Blood Moon the Dozo, knowing, looking like, hey, this slot here can't resist Blood Moon. Let's get rid of it. So here's the Garganical going Terraflyer, because as I've learnt with Garganical, you get out of that rock type as quick as you can. It's the biggest Terra Hog you've ever seen in your life. 9 out of 10 times, that thing is tearing. Alright, so here we go. We got the Salt Cure active on the bear. On the Tatsu. And thanks to the water, the interaction, if it's ever on a water or steel type, it takes a quarter of damage rather than the 1/8, I believe. Whereas this Dozo spreading Yawn. So the idea is spreading Yawn and the Salt Cures everywhere so that people are forced to switch out. And then this is when the Stealth Rock is meant to come into play, because when you get the Stealth Rock up and then you start Salt Curing and Yawning, you get the cycle, the blender going through where the Yawns potentially put things to sleep, the Salt Cures start taking residual damage, and such. Here we go, Terra normal Blood Moon, yeah, because now everything can't resist the normal moves. So we're either going for the Hyper Voice here or a Blood Moon to hit into a target, either knock something out in one big go. But thanks to the Moringa Berry, get Special Defense boost once you're hit by a special attack. So the Hyper Voice might not knock out the thing, but we're certainly doing a big chunk of damage right here. It's going to be a lot of residual damage. Here comes Liquidation. We've got out of that normal type, that ground typing, so there is no such thing as a super effective move on that slot. Here we go, we got Salt Cured on. I'm sure there's going to be a Blood Moon on its way somewhere, somehow. We're going back to the Dragon Pulsing on the Tatsu. The Tatsu is probably done for this world anyway. Oh, we've got 3 HP. There's most likely a double protect happening. Or if you think there's like a mind game of double protects, like you could protect, or you could just get the Stealth Rock up, but I think you just want it safe. Yep, there's 1 protect, probably getting another 2 protect. Oh, here we go. Double tech, yeah. Oh no. Are we living? Are we not? I don't think we try to greed the Stealth Rock a bit too much, or recover either way. Sometimes if you're protecting one, you're protecting with both. If you're not protecting with one, you attack with both, or you do something with both. Otherwise, this Dozo just kind of did nothing on the field. It's kind of stuck on there. Now it's just Dozo and Ensign. Tatsu does indeed go down, but a Blood Moon is here, rubbing its hands together, saying, who's next? Come on out. Most Ensigns are faster, so we'll see here. Although we do have fake out pressure, but what might happen is some switching around going on, so yeah, for this for sure. I don't know about the ordering, considering thanks to the Ensign, there is an Intimidate drop on its way here, so one way or the other, although there is no more Terror. So this can be just simply a... I don't know about this, we're gambling on the speed interactions. You're hoping the Ensign's slower here, but most Ensigns are made to outrun this Blood Moon, so this Blood Moon could be in trouble. So we'll see here. We're trying to play around with this Psychic Surge funny stuff, but a simple knockoff or snarl, yeah. Oh, there we go. That's right though, but there is no knockoff in this. It's forgetting. We're not used to this. It does have snarl, but maybe that wouldn't have been enough. But here we go. There's a lot of damage there. Now it's just Dozo on the littlest of HP, and because of that, it's probably not gonna live too much longer. Even if it protects, gets that to sleep, it's not gonna be living a hit from Sneasler, and you're in a spot where you can just kind of die a claw safety, as you could get a proc. It's most likely going to KO anyway. There's too much going against this Dozo right now, as there's too many threats to deal with all at once. So here we go. So we're just cleaning up this game. Cool, take game 1 to the home for the W. And then we'll be moving on to game number 2, sorry, and see what adaptation pops up. I think if we're doing the Garganical stuff, you would have to apply the Stealth Rocks and Salt Cures a lot earlier, because the problem is you put it too late, as well as that the protection. If you protected the Dozo, you got to protect the Garganical to threaten both out, or you have to attack with both so that you get something else going on by letting both because the real threat there was the Garganical. You could have done something cheeky doing Garganical not protecting and Dozo doing something, considering Dozo was healthy. You could have done something like that. There's a lot of options that could have been done, but what happened there was we tried to probably most likely get a recover off, but it wasn't enough for what was needed to be done for this comp. So now we go for number 2. We see what mode. We saw that the Burning Jealousy didn't come. We tried to predict a Dozo combo, but it was simply the Tatsugiri. There was no Dozo. That said, that simple Tatsugiri on its own was putting in a lot of work, being brutal. There's nothing going about it. It's like we're doing it again, it looks like, but maybe it's just a fool me once, fool me twice situation. Like you get able to pull off the same trick twice. This time though, leading Blood Moon instead of Indeedee. So at least that's why you might be able to bait out the fake out stuff potentially. But I guess the fact that Incin is slower than Incin was slower than the Blood Moon. There's a lot of interesting choices going on, because even then the Snarl doesn't do a whole lot to the Incin got knocked out by Incin. Never mind. But it's like either or, Snarl and Burning Jealousy is not going to do a whole lot to Blood Moon, because Incin's special side isn't the strongest compared to its physical side, and the physical moves is only U-turn and fake out, which is mostly chip, not really knockout potential. We do have an adjustment in the Golden Go though, which is kind of a big adjustment here, with this Golden Go usually having a, what do we have here? We've got it's just Steel Terror Scarf, so it is a very fast Golden Go, potentially faster than this Tatsugiri, so we'll see the interactions there, but usually you can just let it rip with the Golden Go, or you trick the Scarf over onto something potentially. Although I don't think you kind of want anything on their side to be fast for the most part, as everything's already kind of fast for the most part. While Bear's getting out, does not want to eat a potential Terra Steel Make It Rain from the Scarf Golden Go. We do have the Indeedee come in, most likely a Snarl on its way from... Oh no, we're going for the fake out. Get Psychic Terrain on. Here's the Make It Rain. No terror or anything, just simply Make It Rain. Both mons lived. With I would say unfortunate crit on the Indeedee. It might not end up mattering in the end though, because usually 2 would knock it out anyway. And based on the speed interactions and everything, it's just gonna get hit anyway. Maybe you're hoping for Muddy Water misses. Maybe you switch back out, considering it's now the -1, so that you can preserve your Indeedee for later, or you do what you did before in game 1 and helping, knowing that Indeedee's no longer explored. You're just helping Hand and Muddy Water. Here comes Terra, most likely Terra Steel, otherwise it's Grass and Israel, knowing that the Muddy Water's on its way. Yes, that is what's happening, so there's the Terra Grass, and we call the Muddy Water. This is resisting the hit, especially because this is Assault Vest, so it's not going to be as too much damage. Knowing Indeedee is also fainting as well, or it would have been. But we've got to see now this Make It Rain, another reduction of damage. It's not as strong considering it's -1 Make It Rain now. Only a little chip, but that's all it is at this point. It's Golden Go's all about chip damage. It's not about taking KOs, it just wants the chip so the rest in the back can deal it off. Is that Muddy Water does a lot to Golden Go still. Here's the Star, it hits the Indeedee, well, was going to want to hit the Indeedee, but it didn't. A little chip on the Tatsugiri. Like now things in the awkward spot, but we're in a spot where Make It Rain is doing next to nothing. You can safely change things up. So the Golden Go switches out because it's down to -2 now, so it's doing definitely a whole heap of nothing. Here comes the Dozo, unaware of what it wants to do. Most likely just yawn things, wants to pivot things around, get the Snarl shenanigans, get the stat drops going. But now we've got the Sneasler, big troubles here, and thanks to the Terror on the Incineroar, it's in dire claw problems now. But you could always switch it out into that Golden Go, knowing that the Sneasler can dire claw into nothing happening. But now we've got the... Oh, we've missed the Snarl on something, on the Tatsu. Honestly, at this point, this Snarl is doing a whole heap of nothing anyway, so this Tatsu is really looking for a switch out potentially. Might want... Maybe it fires off one more Muddy Water for more accuracy drop potential. So most likely there's a Dire Claw coming along the way. Maybe just whether it's a Dire Claw onto the Incin or if it's just... Yeah, there we go. There's probably a Golden Go in the slot coming around. Yeah, oh no, guys, same thing though. That this is a nice neutral play with the Throat Chop to hit a bit of everything. Muddy Water's still going strong. We did miss on the... missed on the Gargano, which is kind of unfortunate. We got the accuracy drop, which is kind of huge. The Yawn goes on the Sneasler. So now, if the Garg might want to try and get a Stealth Rock going, because there's going to be... This is when a lot of switching happens. You don't really... Salt Cure is nice, but this Tatsu is not really doing a whole lot. It's just... It is -1. It's just firing Scarf, Muddy Waters. The accuracy drops are annoying. But if you get that... If you're able to get that Stealth Rock out now, Psychic Terrain is dealt with, and how Stealth Rock interaction works with certain mons is, if there's no terrain, DD comes in, it feints to the Stealth Rock, it won't have its ability activated on that turn. So I think we're bringing this DD in as fodder. Blood Moon is a hit, so we'll see how much damage we do here. Should be a decent chunk. It's decent, but we're now activating the Moringa Berry, which means, well, it's Spadef boost. But we've already terrored out Incineroar, meaning this Garganical is in threat range of Earth Power. There's going to be Earth Powers coming. We've got a Liquidation going on here. That was a lot of damage from the blood from Ursula, and we've got a defense top as well, and just a double up onto the Ursaluna. So this thing has to switch. I would say it has to switch up because there's going to be a double protect going on here, one way or another. If the terrain does end here, I do see the Tatsugiri switching out here, just so it can change up its moveset. Otherwise, this Blood Moon, it might have a turn or two before it goes down, thanks to the Salt Cure damage. Yeah, just Blood Moon something, and then you can still go, but you are a -1 on the Tatsu. I think we're still waiting for the terrain to end. If it didn't end already, I didn't see, but looks like there is no terrain because there's no effects in the field. So I would imagine that the DD comes soon before Stealth Rock shows up to be able to knock out the NDD. So I think we're trying to knock out this Garganical right here, right now. But our Blood Moon should be faster than both. Here comes the Earth House, so that's that. So NDD is safe from another hit. So the issue is, though, is this... Thanks to all this chip that's happened, there is a Scarf Golden Go that, without any drops, is able to start cleaning havoc again. And that said, we have not brought in... We have brought in the Sneeze, but we have used its Psychic Seed boost, so this Golden Go is going to be the fastest thing in this game. As Unburden was procced, but because it was swapped out, it loses its effect. So it's just now its standard speed stat on the Sneasler itself. So here we go. Old Golden Go does come in. It is low, but we have seen Golden Go is faster than the Tatsugiri, despite both being scarfed. The Tatsu is still -1 thanks to the Snarl from before. So we're just going for the hits here. I imagine we're just going to wanting to target down this Tatsugiri, get rid of it, as this indeed is kind of whatever. That said, we are just clicking Make It Rain, apparently. That's fine as well. More chip, more damage. That's more than enough. And we do have the Grass Terror Instant still in the back. The problem is this Tatsu is... Sorry, this Golden goes too fast. It's all going to be on the shoulders of Sneasler. Can Make It Rain again just to knock out the DD so that DD can't do anything back to the Instant or Dozo. The Dozo is setting up a curse, so it can't take as much damage from the Sneasler. There will be an Intimidate, so that the physical damage of Sneasler doesn't do much. So the Sneasler might be ending up wanting to fish for certain procs, one might say. Certain moves in the action here. Make it rain. That's a lot of damage. Are we seeing another curse? Are we seeing a yawn? Are we seeing a liquidation? Any move that Dozo picks is it's pretty fine to go with. So we see this, Golden goes down, but we're gonna get a intimidate option here. So Sneasels really hope a yawn. So there's gonna be a double protect potentially, or you could double attack it. You could just close combat into Diaclaw. That said, you don't want to greed it too much because Incineroar, despite what it looks like, you know, here now, it's not really threatening a whole lot with its current moveset, as nice as Burning Jealousy and such is. You might be wanting to go for a liquidate Diaclaw on Dozo and hope for the best. Because as we saw, Dozo didn't go for a match, so you could either maybe hope for a crit on close combat. That's probably not going to do it though, so you might have to hope for a Diaclaw shenanigans. Oh! We went for that, but because of the yawn, we're going to sleep. We have a guaranteed turn of sleep. And so that will be a +2 curse Dozo about to go absolutely nuts onto the Sneasler here. And once that will be that stun. So guaranteed sleep, yeah. The liquidation's just gonna knock it out in one go. And we're on to game number 2. Nice brought back by Shai. Yeah. And then we'll be good for game number 3. Now for game number 3, how is Nakul gonna adapt? Get around this Dozo, the big threat. It's not really the Garganacl. We keep giving a free Moringa Berry boost onto the Garganacl. We might want to maybe just let it rip with an Earth Power, because usually they won't live it too well, like without the Spadef boost. That's why they love that Spadef boost, because then they can start to live about just about most things. Maybe it's all about that turn 1. But we're going back to the start of it, because by leading Bloodman, you kind of put yourself in a spot. The Golden Go adaptation was pretty good, because as we kind of know, sometimes most people end up knowing as well, the Lola Ninetales, it's a nice mon. Sometimes it just does a whole heap of nothing though. It's a good mon, but it's also a sad mon to use. It's like, it looks good, it looks like it does the things you want it to do, and it does just twice doesn't do just enough of what you may want it for. So now, here we go for game number 3 between the two players here. As we get started into the round itself. Indeed, we got the Indeedee's lead again. I feel like we did game 1. Now with the Sin, Golden Go game 2. Yeah, Indeedee Tatsu. This allows the Indeedee a bit more aggressive. You can do the Muddy Water stuff, but the issue is this Golden Go just gets a free hit in. Maybe though you might protect the Indeedee away from a Make It Rain, so you don't get affected by it. That said, it looks like we don't care, we're just going in for the hits. That said, we'll see what happens here, because no fake out can happen, but the snarls can happen, which is annoying. It's 2 special attackers. The Golden Go is the game breaker here. Here comes the Make It Rain, breaks the sash. Does a decent chunk. I don't see Snarl picking this off. If anything, it'll be left over with a little chip. Here comes the Muddy Water here. Are we going to get any accuracy drops? No accuracy drop. Expanding Force comes in. It's the Golden Go. Does a nice chip. Nice chunk. That'll be cleaned up later, probably by like the Sneasler's Throat Chop. Here you go. Oh, the Snarl does pick it up. Maybe there is an investment involved, or maybe it's just that does that much. Either way, that was a good pickup there, to be honest. That's very good. That said, Sneasler, it kind of did what it did. It got a bit of chip in, it got Psychic Terrain up. It allows Sneasler to come in actually really safely and nicely, and it puts you in an awkward spot where you're now faster than Golden Go. Golden Go is stuck on the move. It's now -1. It wants to switch out. You can safely just kind of close combat Muddy Water the instant slot, or Muddy Water die for the instant slot, knowing that it can't change up. There goes the swap. Yeah, that's fine. Most likely into the Dozo, but we're probably CCing knowing that there's a Muddy or Garganacl on the way. But the Garganacl's in that slot, And we got a double switch here, so most likely the Dozo. So we're in a Muddy Water. It's going to do a Desert Chunk. It's going to activate the Moringa Berry. We are -1 thanks to the Snarl, but we got a good close combat off here, doing a decent chunk of damage. Nothing to write home about, though. We might be able to put in the Grunt, but nothing's in Yawn. Nothing's been Salt Cured yet. That's still a decent damage. There has been no Terror yet, so most likely this turn... This turn, though, most likely the Garganicle's going to Terra Flying to get away from the close combat weakness that it has, but everything else on the other side is going to be weak to, you know, throat chops and all that stuff. So here comes the switch from the Tatsugiri, knowing that it's safe to swap out, as these mons don't do a whole lot of anything. I do believe there's going to be a Terra Flying, because Sneasler doesn't do a whole lot to Garganicle back, so there's most likely that going on. Diaclaw does not work on Garganicle. Why would you still have you still have damage, you just won't get the effects thanks to the Purifying Salt. So that's why we're just Diaclaw in the other slot. So here we go, there's the Terra. Most likely the Garganicle. Yeah, here comes Terra Flying. Here it goes, the Flying Rocks. That's all what you want to call them, the Flying Rocks. Diaclaw there, do we get an effect? Do we get shenanigans? No shenanigans. That's it, we get Yawn shenanigans now though. Do we set up Stealth Rocks? What did we set up here? We set up a Salt Cure. This bear is getting pretty salty right now. But that said, it is in motion of a Blood Moon. That said, I would imagine there's a double protect going on here. Or because you're wanting the Salt Cure damage as well as the Yawn to go off. And even if that would be the safest thing to do, especially considering you've already knocked out one mon. And if you put a double protect, it's just a lot more benefits to double protect, even if they switch out. They can only switch out once, so either one thing's picking more residual chip, or one is going to sleep. Most likely, either or can happen. Maybe Knuckle accepts the fact that he's going to sleep, and thinks the opponent is going to just go for an attack instead of protecting, considering the double protect seems obvious, but you don't want to make it obvious. So here we go, we've got a Terra, meaning there is no switching out going on, so every mon is staying on the field currently as a switching out goes first, and then the Terra happens. So here we go, Terra, normal Blood Moon. We're hoping that there's no protects going on, otherwise there's going to be some sad bears going on. So no one's protected. This is a very strong turn from the Cool. That is a very strong turn. No double protects is a very greedy option, especially when you've set up on both mons. It feels like there's no reason not to double protect, where you could get the Yawn off or more chip onto the Blood Moon here, as well as get to see what it wants to do. And as we see, it barely lived, but holy moly. You're not happy about this one bit. You set us the Soul Cure now on Sneasler, thinking it would have swapped out, not wanting the sleep condition of the Yawn. But Sneasler doesn't care. Sneasler does what it pleases. So now there is no more Yawn to be going around. The issue now is there is a Golden Go that is neutral, that does usually pretty good into the Ursaluna, considering Ursaluna's special defense is not naturally the strongest, especially because this is the Life Orb version and not the Assault Fest version. Doesn't help when there's also a Snarling Incineroar on the opposing side here, which is most likely faster as well. I can only imagine what's going to go here. Yeah, you want to get a turn going with Sneasler so that you might be able to potentially wake up. This is probably a safe turn for Garganicle to set up a recover if it wants, although it might be scared of a Hyper Voice potentially. So here we go, Snarl here, that's weakening this Blood Moon right here, right now. Garganicle has not protected, so it's either setting up Stealth Rocks, with no reason not to, or most likely though, a recover. Dude does not pick up the Incineroar, which is actually kind of unfortunate here. We do recover, so that's a lot of health regained here. And now this is when most likely, more than not, this Garganicle is going to start protecting, as it's got both targets on Salt Cured. This is when it doesn't matter. It just protects here. And Incineroar goes for the Snarl, just to keep whittling down this Ursaluna, as it has There's no way it's going to be living the hit in the back. We're trying to keep this Tatsugiri as healthy as possible because we don't want it low enough for the thing to knock out the... That was a lot of damage. That critical hit, it might have mattered, it might have not, who tell. With the Spadef boost from, it might have mattered, actually, considering there was a Spadef boost on the Psychic Seed. But now the Blood Moon was able to get a hit off, but now we're in this awkward territory. Most likely in the win of Garganical, because Blood Moon has now knocked out. Most likely, more than not, this Tatsugiri is going to go for Muddy Waters, because it has to hit both Mons. Make It Rain's going to do a lot of damage. We've got to recover here, recovering to near complete full HP. It still has the special defense boost from the Moringa Berry. And because of that, even if, say, it lives from the hit of Make It Rain, the Tatsugiri, it's going to get Salt Cured, and then it gets protected, and thanks to its water typing, it's just going to get whittled down too hard too quickly. But even then, thanks to the Shadow Ball there, it just knocks out the Tatsu. Congrats to Shosheng Pei for winning this round, going up to 3-2. Unlucky to Nakul, you nearly brought it back. Good job for the Garganical team there. Well done to everyone. It was great to watch. Very tough game, very close. Could have gone either way, really. Lots of decisions, a lot of stalling moments, a lot of good moments. A lot of shenanigans as well. What's not like to enjoy and see. That was a great round 5 that has happened there today. So let's see, has anything else popped up yet?